Chapter 61-69. In fact, Lin Xian was also very puzzled. From the conversation between the goddess and the first elder, he learned that the Fane of Destiny had to pay a huge price to change his fate. This price was probably not something that the goddess could decide alone. However, the other party still did it. Why did the other party do it? Lin Xian didn't ask because he knew that he might only hear the answer 100 years later. He had to live for the next 100 years. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian clenched his fists. This place of destiny was extremely terrifying. At that time, even the super great emperors would come. Lin Xian wasn't afraid of ordinary great emperors because they were no match for him at all. Lin Xian was confident that he could fight against a super great emperor. However, if an Earth Immortal came, it would be difficult for him. It seemed that he could only take one step at a time. Looking at Lin Xian's back, the first elder said, "Goddess, do you really agree with him? This matter is not something that you can decide. You have to ask some of the grand elders, right? I'll go now." The goddess turned around and left. The first elder sighed and didn't follow, because he wasn't qualified to go where the other party wanted to go. The goddess of destiny left the 7th island and flew into the distance. She came to the 33rd island, where there was a huge palace. This was the real Fane of Destiny. It was like a mythical heavenly palace. The goddess of destiny held a token and opened the door of the palace. After entering, it seemed to be a world of its own. It was incomparably vast. "You're acting on your own." At this moment, a cold voice came from the sky. It was a woman's voice with endless majesty. The goddess of destiny bowed and said, "Greetings, master." In the sky, a woman's phantom appeared. At the same time, several figures appeared around her. They were all different in height, fat, and thin. However, the aura on their bodies was extremely terrifying. "Greetings, grand elders," the goddess bowed here. An old man said, "Tell me, why did you do this?" He condensed the power of an immortal and broke his own fate. The goddess said. Another person shook his head, "But his condition is unstable. To be honest, we don't know how long he can live. So, I gave him 100 years. 100 years was enough to prove everything." Several elders spoke one after another, and the goddess was able to calmly respond. In the end, the supreme elders also fell silent. At this moment, the middle-aged woman said, "Why do you have to help him? We, the land of destiny, do not have to participate in the affairs of the outside world, because I saw hope in him." The goddess's eyes flickered as she spoke. At this moment, the entire fortune shrine fell silent. Was there hope? "Are you trying to get him to do that?" the middle-aged woman asked. The goddess nodded. "That's right. Maybe he can do it." "Master, grand elders, I've already said what I wanted to say. You can decide." The figures in the sky began to communicate in low voices. Some were arguing, some were discussing. 3 days later, all sounds disappeared. The middle-aged woman said, "We've decided to do as you say. I hope everything goes well." "Yes." An old man said, "How many years has it been?" "We were all in despair. I didn't expect that there would be a little hope now." "Disciple, go ahead and do it. We will fully support you." "Thank you, master." "Thank you, grand elders." The goddess's lips curled up into a smile. Then, she left the shrine. The goddess of destiny returned to the 7th island. The grand elder was waiting there anxiously. Seeing the goddess return, he asked, "How was it?" Master and the others agreed. "Really?" The grand elder was stunned. In his opinion, this was almost impossible. Could it be that those supreme elders all placed their hopes on a young man? And a young man from all the realms in the universe? The goddess took a deep breath, looked at the grand elder and said, "Let's start. Give him the title of Destiny's Child and spread it throughout the land of destiny." "Okay, I'll go now." The grand elder began to act. Not long after, a big news came from the land of destiny. The fortune shrine issued an edict. Lin Xian was named Destiny's Child. For a moment, the entire land of destiny was in an uproar. Countless martial artists were stunned. Even the great emperors were dumbfounded. To them, the fortune shrine was a place of myths and legends. It was a place that everyone yearned for, because there, one could defy the heavens and change one's fate. They didn't know much about the fortune shrine. They knew that the people outside the fortune shrine were called the messengers of destiny. If one wanted to enter the fortune shrine, they had to go through these messengers. And in the fortune shrine, they only knew of one goddess of destiny. She seemed to be the symbol of the fortune shrine. As for the destiny's child, they had never heard of it. Even those great emperors who had lived for tens of thousands of years, or even older figures, were puzzled. What was the destiny's child? Was it the same as the goddess of destiny? Why did they name this person the destiny's child? Who was Lin Xian? They had never heard of him. For a moment, countless voices of discussion and speculation were heard. The entire land of destiny was abuzz with discussion. Even some Earth immortals were alarmed. Had they come? Lin Xian took a deep breath. He didn't expect the fortune shrine to act so quickly. But fortunately, these people only knew a name and didn't know him. However, not long after, about 5 days, all kinds of news about the destiny's child spread. This news was naturally released by the fortune shrine. It was spread throughout the land of destiny through the powerhouses of various families. Do you know what the destiny's child meant? It seemed to be a secret about destiny. God, that Lin Xian had the secret about destiny. Was he really that amazing? Who was this Lin Xian? It was said that he was a young man. Lin Xian also heard this news. At this moment, Lin Xian was in a huge city and came to a restaurant every day. The news here was extremely fast. After another 2 days, Lin Xian found that these people were holding portraits in their hands. Many of them had portraits in their hands. Someone said, "This is what Lin Xian looks like. He's quite handsome. I wonder how he mastered the secret of destiny." When Lin Xian heard this, his face darkened. He stood up and left. "Hey, look at the guy who just left. Doesn't he look like the person in the portrait? No way. Are you dreaming?" The destiny's child was so high and mighty. No matter what, he had to sit in the fortune shrine. Have you seen the goddess of destiny? Even the goddess didn't come out. How could the destiny's child come out? But he really looked like her. Damn, it's really the same. It's that kid. Stop. Immediately, many experts rushed over. The destiny's child was right in front of them. How could they not go crazy? If they caught him, they might be able to know the secret of destiny. At that time, they would be able to defy the heavens and change their fate. Chapter 6170. In an instant, hundreds of figures rushed over and surrounded Lin Xian. "Stay. Are you the child of destiny? Tell me, what kind of secret does destiny have? How can you change your fate?" One after another, angry shouts sounded. Lin Xian stopped and turned around. "Get lost." The cold shout was like a clap of thunder. Hundreds of figures were sent flying as if they had been struck by lightning. They fell to the ground, their faces full of horror. "Great Emperor Cultivation. Great Emperor, we were wrong. We will leave now. Thank you for not killing us." These hundreds of figures turned around and fled. No matter what secrets he had, everyone below the great emperor was an ant. They didn't dare to have any ideas about a great emperor. Lin Xian's figure flashed and left the giant city. However, not long after he left, a figure rushed over from the city. There was also the aura of a great emperor spreading out. A great emperor made a move. "Fellow Taoist, please wait." A voice sounded outside the giant city. Then, a man rushed out. This man had black wings on his back and terrifying patterns on his face. His eyes were dark and full of pupils. Just like that, he blocked Lin Xian's path. There were black flames dancing on his body. That was the divine fire. Obviously, this was a great emperor. "You want to stop me too?" Lin Xian frowned. The great emperor said, "Fellow Taoist, you don't know me, right? I am the Bat Great Emperor. I heard that you were the child of destiny. Tell me the secret of destiny." "You? You are not qualified to know this secret. Kid, you are too arrogant. It seems that you don't know how powerful I am." In the next moment, the man attacked. In an instant, he was in front of Lin Xian. He threw a punch at Lin Xian. Black divine fire danced on his fist, like a meteor shooting star. Seeing this scene, the people in the giant city all exclaimed, "The two great emperors are going to fight." And the one who attacked was the Bat Great Emperor. It was said that his dark divine fire was extremely terrifying. In the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian coldly snorted and punched out. Extremely frightening flames also appeared on his body. Those were golden flames. The black flames and the golden flames collided, causing the heavens and the earth to shatter. Then, a figure flew out. Boom! The hundreds of mountains in front of him were all smashed into pieces by this figure. The Bat Emperor screamed miserably. The people in the distant giant city were dumbfounded. The Bat Emperor was actually sent flying by a single punch. This was simply too unbelievable. One had to know that this was the pressure of the Bat Emperor. How terrifying was he? He was known as the King of Darkness. Very few people dared to attack him, but now he was sent flying with a single punch. Lin Xian looked ahead and said in a low voice, "I told you, you don't have the right to know. This is the first time. I will spare your life. Next time, if you dare to block my path again, I will directly behead you." With that, Lin Xian turned around and soared into the air. In the distant ruins of the mountain range, the Bat Emperor stood up. There was a bloody hole in his body that was slowly recovering. His expression became extremely ugly. Looking at Lin Xian's departing figure, he did not dare to chase after him. That moment just now was too terrifying. That was an absolute suppression power. This guy was not an ordinary great emperor. Looking at his age, he should be a young genius. He actually had such power. This was the child of destiny. He was indeed strong. However, in the next moment, the Bat Emperor frowned. "I didn't make a move, but someone else did. Let's go over and take a look." The Bat Emperor's figure flickered. He hid in the void and quietly followed. He did not get too close because he was afraid that Lin Xian would really kill him. In front, Lin Xian flew all the way towards the boundless mountains. He frowned. He could naturally sense that the Bat Emperor was following him. This guy, was he still not giving up? His expression was cold. However, in the next moment, his expression changed. His figure flickered, and he instantly dodged. The place where he was originally standing was torn into pieces by several rays of light. In the next moment, Lin Xian came to a mountain peak and said coldly, "Get out here." The surroundings were terrifyingly quiet. There was not even a trace of wind. The atmosphere was extremely solemn. Lin Xian snorted. "You don't want to come out?" With a wave of his hand, the sky turned into 9 suns and flew out in all directions. As soon as those suns came, they spread out endlessly. Boom, boom, boom. Extremely terrifying cracks appeared in the surroundings. In these divine flames, there were several cold snorts. Then, a crack appeared and 7 figures walked out from it. They all had the aura of a great emperor. In an instant, they surrounded Lin Xian tightly. "You are the child of destiny? Tell me the secret of destiny and I will spare your life." On the other side, the Bat Emperor stopped and hid in a big tree. He looked ahead nervously. If he encountered 7 great emperors, he would definitely die. He wondered if this child of destiny could withstand them. Lin Xian looked around. 7 great emperors? They were indeed powerful. It seemed that the moment the title of Child of Destiny was announced, the great emperors of this world began to move. But so what? Lin Xian looked around and said, 7 people are still not enough? Kid, you defeated the Bat Emperor before. We admit that you are powerful, but none of the 7 of us is weaker than him. You will never be able to withstand the 7 of us together. One of the great emperors took a deep breath and said coldly, "Attack." The 7 of them immediately rushed up. In order to change their fate, they were willing to give up everything. However, the conditions set by the Fane of Destiny were too harsh. Even the great emperors could not fulfill them. Now, a child of destiny had appeared. How could they give up this opportunity? Lin Xian snorted and punched out. 9 suns' divine fist. 9 suns circled around his fist. He collided with the 7 great emperors. The sky fell, and the earth cracked. So powerful. Don't hold back. Attack with all your might. The 7 great emperors all took out their apex weapons. Terrifying apex aura erupted and swept across the world. At this moment, the martial artists in the nearby space were all terrified. The powerhouses in the surrounding cities were shocked. They looked up at the sky. There was a destructive aura in the sky. It was the aura of the 7 great emperors. They were fighting. Who were they fighting with? They were not sure. The battle in the distance was getting more and more terrifying. The 7 apex weapons, combined with the power of the great emperors, struck out an apex attack. Thousands of black holes appeared in the sky. Lin Xian rose into the sky. He roared to the sky and took out the immortal slaying sword. Slaying a mortal with one sword. Boom. Just this one slash had split a great emperor into 2 halves. The great emperor screamed and was severely injured. The other 6 were also shocked. Damn it. Quickly launch a peerless attack. The 7 great emperors did not dare to hold back. But Lin Xian roared, "Get lost. Or die." The next moment, he stared at an elder and attacked wildly. The power of an immortal erupted. It merged with the immortal slaying sword. He stabbed out with the sword. Chapter 61-71. Those who oppose me shall be killed. With a roar, a sword slashed out. The old man on the other side also shouted angrily. 2 shields appeared on his fingers as he tried to block the attack. The shields seemed to have turned into 2 mountains. Their defense was unparalleled, and they even crushed the sky. However, his 2 shields were directly pierced through by a single sword strike. The old man's eyes widened. The sword chi had pierced through his forehead. How could this be? The power of the gods and the murderous intent of the immortal slaying sword tore his soul into pieces. Boom. The old man's body fell from the sky. His emperor blood dyed the 9 heavens red. He was dead. The 6 great emperors were dumbfounded. In the distance, the bat emperor's body was also trembling. There was a look of horror in his eyes. Had the great emperor fallen? That was impossible, right? Was he dreaming? However, not long after, a rain of blood fell from the sky above the land of destiny. Heaven and earth mourned. He was really dead. The Bat Emperor was shocked. Only the fall of a great emperor would cause such a shocking phenomenon. The martial artists in the distant city all knelt down. A great emperor had fallen. What kind of person was he fighting against? After the sword pierced through his opponent, Lin Xian also spat out a mouthful of blood. This was caused by the impact of the power of the gods on his body. He was injured. Kill him. That should be his ultimate move. He must have paid a terrible price. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed a great emperor so easily. The other 6 powerhouses roared. Extremely terrifying divine fire and immortal chi erupted from their bodies. It was dazzling. The 6 of them attacked together. Lin Xian snorted. With a wave of his hand, he took out a fragment of the reincarnation sword and placed it in the void. At the same time, he opened his Rinnegan and summoned the phantom of the reincarnation sword. The fragment of the reincarnation sword combined with the phantom to form a peerless sword that slashed down from the sky. What was that? It was so terrifying. The 6 great emperors felt their hair stand on end. They quickly retreated, but it was still too late. A young man was instantly hit. His soul was also shattered. This young man was also a great emperor. After he died, the immortal chi on his body quickly disappeared. His body fell from the sky. Between heaven and earth, another rain of blood fell. He died again. The remaining 5 great emperors were stunned. In the blink of an eye, 2 great emperors were dead. The other party could instantly kill a great emperor. This must be a super great emperor. Let's go, let's go. They didn't dare to say anything else. They turned around and ran. In fact, these people even ignited their divine flames and immortal chi. His speed was extremely fast. The Bat Emperor also merged with the void and fled quickly. For a moment, the surroundings were eerily quiet. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly and turned to leave. The news quickly spread, and the entire world was in an uproar. Everyone in the land of destiny was shocked. The 7 great monarchs fought against the child of destiny and lost. On top of that, 2 martial monarchs had died there. Destiny's child was too strong, able to instantly kill a great emperor. Even if he had to pay a price, it was still a heaven-defying feat. He was probably very close to becoming a super great emperor. Ordinary martial emperors would not dare to go there. Even if they joined forces, it would not be enough. However, someone said, I think the super great emperors are going to take action soon. Indeed, there were super great emperors on the move. Even super great emperors had their own destinies. It was difficult for them to break through. Therefore, they also needed the help of the Fane of Destiny. The person who came this time was extremely terrifying. He was half black and half white. He was the Yin-Yang Great Emperor, a super great emperor. He had cultivated 2 divine flames, the Yin-Yang divine flames. He spent a month to find Lin Xian. He descended from the sky. The black and white aura in his eyes was extremely powerful. He said in a low voice, "Young man, tell me the secret of your destinies." Yin-Yang aura? Lin Xian's eyes turned serious. A super great emperor finally met an opponent of this level. A super great emperor was stronger than ordinary great emperors. Even if many great emperors joined forces, they would not be a match for a super great emperor. However, Lin Xian was an exception. Although he had just attained the Tao not long ago, although he had just attained enlightenment, his combat power was not weaker than a super great emperor. Therefore, Lin Xian was not afraid of the Yin-Yang Great Emperor at all. He said, "Do you want to know the secret of your destinies? Hurry up and say it." The Yin-Yang Great Emperor laughed. The other party was so timid. He only needed to scare him, and he told him. That was great. However, it made sense. No matter how strong the other party was, he only had 1 divine flame. How could he be a match for him? Even 10 great emperors were no match for him. Therefore, in order to save his life, the other party would tell him. Lin Xian said with a smile, "It's easy to break through your destinies. Can't you just cultivate the divine flame and immortal qi together?" Hearing this, the Yin-Yang Great Emperor's face darkened. "Kid, are you messing with me? Everyone knows that no one can do that. Do you really think I'm an idiot? Since you don't want to tell me, don't blame me for being rude." After saying that, he stretched out a hand and pointed downwards. In his opinion, the other party could not even block this finger. That was indeed the case. Previously, he had attacked a great emperor. With a light flick of his finger, that great emperor was severely injured. The kid in front of him was no exception. Lin Xian smiled at the other party's finger. Was the other party looking down on him? He would make the other party pay a painful price. Lin Xian punched out. It collided with the other party's finger. With a crack, the other party's finger was broken. "You're courting death." Feeling the pain, the Yin-Yang Great Emperor was completely furious. It was unbelievable that the other party had hurt him. Since when could an ant bite a giant dragon? This was completely illogical. Because even if an ordinary great emperor attacked with all his strength, it would not be able to hit him head-on. He would not be able to break through his defense. Unless that great emperor had a legendary divine weapon, he might be able to do it. But the kid in front of him hurt him with just the strength of his physique. Impossible. How did you do it? Take a guess. Lin Xian smiled. You're courting death. The Yin-Yang Great Emperor stretched out a pair of big hands and grabbed down. However, Lin Xian roared to the sky and punched out. The Yin-Yang Great Emperor was knocked back. He was dumbfounded. That power just now? How strange. What was going on? The Yin-Yang Great Emperor stretched out his hands. The power of Yang in his left hand and the power of Yin in his right. His hands merged, forming a Yin-Yang image. Suppress it. Lin Xian sneered. I'll let you see my power. After saying that, he stretched out his hands. The divine fire on his left hand jumped, and immortal qi filled his right hand. His hands merged, and the power of God and immortal merged into one, forming a divine power that flew up. That's impossible. The Yin-Yang Great Emperor's eyes almost popped out. How could immortal qi and divine fire exist in the same person at the same time? Moreover, this guy actually merged them. Boom. After an earth-shattering sound, he was knocked back. His blood was boiling. He was injured. However, he was even more shocked. Previously, that kid said that if he wanted to break through destiny, he had to merge the power of God and immortal. At that time, he thought that the other party was playing with him, but now he realized that what the other party said was actually true. This guy really merged the power of God and immortal. He didn't die? He did it. Wasn't he too lucky? One had to know that for thousands of years, no one had ever been able to do it. Chapter 6172. Young Emperor roared. Yin and Yang fusion. He quickly charged over and fought with Lin Xian's divine power. The more he fought, the more shocked he became. He discovered that Lin Xian had really fused with the divine power. However, the other party's divine power seemed to be unstable. Once he used it, his body would be torn apart. Great opportunity. He wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to take down the other party and ask about the secret of the life providence while asking how to fuse with the divine power. However, when Lin Xian took out the immortal slaying sword, the Young Emperor instantly ran away. He was sent flying by the sword and cracks appeared on his body. Divine artifact. He cried out in alarm and turned around to flee. A person who was not weaker than him was holding a divine artifact. Even if the other party's state was unstable, he was still not his match. Looking at the other party's fleeing figure, Lin Xian frowned. Although he had defeated a super great emperor this time, it was too difficult to kill a super great emperor. It was more than 10 times more difficult than killing an ordinary great emperor. In his current state, it was very difficult to keep the other party. Moreover, it had only been a month. Was he going to fight like this for 100 years? It was truly a difficult challenge. Lin Xian turned around and left. He found a place and went to the sword world to absorb all kinds of heavenly materials and earthly treasures, as well as the spirit spring of life, to heal his injuries. At the same time, when he had nothing to do, he would send his clone to dig for treasures in the sword world. Now that the great dragon sword spirit was not around, he had to find more life-saving methods. At the very least, when he met a land immortal, he had to have a way to fight against them. In the following year, Lin Xian kept walking in the land of destiny. Young Emperor had returned, and he had even found 2 helpers. 3 super great emperors joined forces to chase after Lin Xian. However, they actually let Lin Xian escape. This made Young Emperor grit his teeth. Damn it, where did this kid go? They left helplessly. After they left, Lin Xian walked out of the sword world. He sneered and continued to set off. In the blink of an eye, 10 years had passed. In the past 10 years, there had been many battles, and some great emperors had fallen. Everyone in the land of destiny was stunned. They knew that a child of destiny had appeared, causing countless experts to go crazy. However, the strength of destiny's child was terrifying. Ordinary great emperors weren't his match. Even super great emperors might not be able to defeat him. Once the super great emperors joined forces, the other party would disappear without a trace. It was truly strange. However, the battle was not over yet because the people in the land of destiny wanted to change their fate. They continued to pursue Lin Xian. While Lin Xian was undergoing the trial and being hunted down by experts, the various worlds outside were also engaged in fierce battles. Lin Xian had been sent to the land of destiny, but the battle between the realm of gods and the otherworld heavenly king hadn't ended. This battle lasted for 10 years. The depths of the universe had long been beaten into countless nothingness. Black holes bobbed up and down, causing the myriad worlds to tremble in fear. Was this a battle between gods? It was too scary. However, what shocked them even more was that even with so many Earth immortals joining forces, they still couldn't defeat Grand Supreme. How terrifying was this Taishang? Grand Supreme had also gone crazy. Back then, when he was at his peak, he didn't put these people in his eyes at all. Unfortunately, his body wasn't in the right state. Otherwise, he would have destroyed these people long ago. After 10 years of battle, he could tell that it was impossible to take down these people for the time being. Therefore, he didn't continue to attack. I'll let you live for a while longer. Grand Supreme said coldly and left with the heavenly punishment sword. Did he leave? Lord Alcohol, Lin Zhan, and the others heaved a sigh of relief. The battle of 10 years had caused them to tremble in fear. They weren't qualified to participate in the battle with Grand Supreme. However, the battle with Essence Immortal, Master Rashi, and the others had also exhausted them. In the past 10 years, their bodies had been shattered countless times. They were all seriously injured. Of course, the other party didn't have it easy either. Their bodies had been shattered by them many times. Both sides had their wins and losses. Now, with Grand Supreme's departure, Essence Immortal, Master Rashi, and the others also returned to the otherworld heavenly king. The people from the supreme palace had also retreated. It seemed like they had to rest for the time being. On the realm of God's side, the battle god and the others had returned. Heavenly Emperor Ye's phantom slowly disappeared into the heaven and earth cauldron. Heaven-devouring Great Emperor's figure also gradually faded. He looked at Wine Sword Immortal and said, "You can only rely on yourself in the future. You haven't fully unleashed the power of the heaven-devouring sword." Lord Alcohol smiled bitterly. "Perhaps I'm not suitable to cultivate the heaven-devouring sword at all." Heaven-devouring Great Emperor didn't say anything else. Her figure slowly disappeared. Lord Alcohol sighed. He liked to be free and unfettered. As for the heaven-devouring sword, it represented greed and unwillingness. It wanted to devour the world to strengthen itself. It was the opposite of Lord Alcohol's path. Therefore, Lord Alcohol couldn't unleash the full power of the heaven-devouring sword. However, the heaven-devouring sword was such an important thing that he couldn't easily give it away. Therefore, Lord Alcohol could only take one step at a time. "Do you want to find a new successor?" The fighting god flew over and said the same thing. Lord Alcohol said, "Is there anyone suitable?" He looked around. Lin Zhan shook his head. "I'm not suitable." The Lion King, the Empress, and the others also shook their heads. They wondered if Lin Xian was suitable for the heaven-devouring sword. Lord Alcohol thought of Lin Xian. However, Lin Zhan said, "He's not suitable either. Besides, he already has the reincarnation sword and the great dragon sword." Actually, the great dragon sword was the most suitable for him. The heaven-devouring sword wasn't suitable for him. Besides, don't doubt yourself. You've already had the heaven-devouring sword for tens of thousands of years. Although it's not as good as the heaven-devouring Great Emperor, it's still extremely powerful. The others chimed in one after another. Lord Alcohol nodded. At this moment, laughter came from afar. "If you don't want it, you can give it to me." Hearing this voice, everyone turned their heads and saw a demonic figure appear in the void. It was the Demon Emperor. The Empress and the others frowned. The Demon Emperor walked over and stared at Lord Alcohol. "Give me the heaven-devouring sword. You know that I'm very greedy." The Demon Emperor wanted to increase his strength at all costs. The Demon Emperor was the most suitable for the heaven-devouring sword. "Give it to me. When the time comes, I'll help you." Lin Zhan and the others frowned. The Demon Emperor was too greedy. He was really unscrupulous for everything. If they gave it to the other party, it would be hard to predict whether it would be a blessing or a curse. Lord Alcohol also shook his head. Xin Yuan even slapped the Demon Emperor lightly and sent him flying. He said indifferently, "Go to the wasteland of the universe and wake up." Not long after the Demon Emperor was sent flying, the Moon Goddess also arrived with a murderous aura. She led the people of the human world and said, "Where's the Demon Emperor? Where's that old thing?" Everyone was stunned. After a while, they smiled bitterly and said, "He was slapped to the wasteland of the universe by Lord Xinyuan. It will probably take a few years for him to come back." He's lucky." The Moon Goddess gritted her teeth. Chapter 61-73. Lord Alcohol sighed. He wondered when Lin Xian would return. Lin Zhan said, "It won't be that easy. Even if he wants to change his fate, it won't be too fast. Let's prepare first to prevent their counterattack. We need people to fight for the cities we attack." Everyone nodded. This time, they were all seriously injured and needed to recuperate. Xin Yuan said, "Leave the great dragon sword with me first. When Lin Xian returns, tell him to find me at the Slanting Moon Cave." After saying that, he turned into a sword light and returned with the great dragon sword. We also returned to the heavens. The people from the divine realm returned to the heavens. Shangqing City. Shangqing City was a very special city in the heavens. They had to recover here first. After a few years, they would send people to other cities. They had already taken down 2 cities in the heavens. They had to send people to guard the 2 cities in the Tartarus. These cities were very useful. Moreover, cultivating in these cities was much faster than cultivating outside. It wasn't easy to take down these cities. They definitely couldn't allow others to take them away. In the blink of an eye, Another 10 years had passed. 10 years was a blink of an eye for these top experts. Lin Zhan and the others had been in seclusion for 10 years. In the past 10 years, they had recovered from their injuries through the earth veins in Shangqing City. Next, Lin Zhan prepared to head to the Tartarus. He was going to guard the city. In the Tartarus, battles were constantly erupting. The people from the Supreme Palace had started to fight for cities. The Permitha realm was also taking action. It wouldn't be long before these people came to the heavens. Among them, Murong Qingqing, Yin Ruyu, and Xue Qi were also heading to the Tartarus to train. Lin Xian had successfully attained his Tao. The next people could attain their Tao. However, in the universe, one couldn't attain their Tao within 10,000 years. However, there was no such restriction in the heavens and the Tartarus. They could attain their Tao there. As for the other great emperor clans, Yi Wudao, Gu Santong, Qilin, and the others also headed there. They also had to choose their own Tao. Time passed slowly, and 50 years had passed. In 50 years, many ordinary people had turned from youths to gray-haired. However, to these cultivators, it was nothing. To a great emperor, it was merely a training exercise. Murong Qingqing and Yin Ruyu were still as beautiful as ever. Furthermore, they were still young. After all, those great emperors had lived for tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of years. In fact, in order to snatch the treasure, they had even escaped from an old monster that was millions of years old. It's about time. I'm about to prove my Tao. Murong Qingcheng was delighted. Yin Ruyu also said, I also feel that a breakthrough is imminent. Next, he had to find a place to go into seclusion. In 50 years, the God's realm had conquered another city in the 9th serenity. Not only that, but the Supreme Hall and the Otherworld Heavenly King had also taken down a few cities. They began to occupy these cities and use the earth veins in the cities to cultivate. It had been more than 50 years since the last War of the Gods. The people of the Permitha continent weren't willing to accept this. Before, they had been the rulers and were high and mighty. However, in the last battle, they didn't have the upper hand. In fact, they had been surpassed by the God realm and had fallen behind. Lin Wudi had gone to the land of destiny. They didn't know what would happen. Therefore, they felt the pressure. The Grand Supreme was even more furious. After the last battle, he immediately went into seclusion. 50 years later, he opened his eyes. After opening his eyes, he summoned the virtual immortal and Master Rashi. Even the Saber Immortal was summoned. The Saber Immortal was originally cultivating in the Treasure Land, but he had to come out of seclusion at this moment. He looked at the 3 Land Immortals. The Grand Supreme said, We don't have enough people. Let the Ghost Immortal wake up and call the Fox Immortal over. The 5 of you should be able to work together. Yes. The Virtual Immortal nodded. The Saber Immortal asked, Lord Grand Supreme, what are your plans? Naturally, he was going to make a move. After such a long time, it seemed that these people had forgotten the power of the Permitha continent. We are the kings of all the realms. Now, how dare the people of the God realm be arrogant in front of us? Gather the land immortals. Activate our power and summon a group of puppets. Attack me. No matter what method you use, I want you to surpass the God realm. I'll only give you 50 years. 50 years later, I'll activate the power of the divine punishment to destroy the world. Among them, the land immortals gasped when they heard this. The divine punishment will destroy the world? The Saber Immortal said, Lord Grand Supreme, it hasn't reached that point yet, right? The group of people from the God realm hasn't returned yet, and our people haven't fully awakened. Why do you want to destroy the world in advance now? Because I'm the Grand Supreme. The Grand Supreme stood up, and a cold light appeared in his eyes. They actually dared to make me suffer, so I'll destroy them all. They thought that with a few remnant souls left here, they would be able to contend against me? Ridiculous. I'll let them know what despair is. Go and prepare. Don't disturb me in these 50 years. Yes. The 3 land immortals left. After they went out, their expressions became extremely solemn. The virtual immortal said, I'll go find the Fox Immortal. I don't want to go to the Ghost Immortal. The Saber Immortal said, I'll go. The Rashi Immortal said, then I'll go and integrate the other forces. We only have 50 years, so we have to hurry. Otherwise, if the Grand Supreme gets angry, we won't have a good ending." A hint of fear appeared in the eyes of these people. Even though they were land immortals, they didn't dare to go against the Grand Supreme's will. In a forest in the Eternal Land, there were countless foxes of all colors. They sometimes transformed into handsome men, and sometimes into beautiful women. They were living a carefree and happy life. After the virtual immortal descended, the foxes scattered. Among them, a little fox ran over and said, "Greetings, land immortal." "Little fox, where's your ancestor?" the virtual immortal asked. The little fox jumped over and said, "Ancestor is still sleeping. Take me there. The Grand Supreme wants him to wake up." The little fox led the way in front. They walked through thousands of caves. Finally, the virtual immortal stopped in a cave. In front of him, a woman was sleeping. She was very beautiful, and there was a charm on her body. Even he didn't dare to approach her easily. "You should wake up. The Grand Supreme wants you to make a move. Sigh, you can't even take an afternoon nap. You men are really boring." The beautiful woman in front of him opened her eyes. Her voice was lazy. She yawned and stretched. Then, the beautiful woman walked out of the cave. The little fox jumped onto her body. The beautiful woman said, "You slept for tens of thousands of years?" The little fox was counting with her fingers. The virtual immortal frowned and said, "I don't have time to chat with you here. The Grand Supreme wants to activate the heavenly punishment 50 years later. You better hurry." "What? Did I oversleep?" The fox immortal was stunned. Was the final battle coming? Had the people from the divine realm returned? No. However, the Grand Supreme was angry. "Let's talk as we walk." The fox immortal nodded and put down the little fox. She was no longer joking. Instead, her expression was extremely serious. It seemed that things were going to be troublesome this time. On the other side, the west side of the Eternal Land was surrounded by ghostly chi. It was eerie and terrifying, as if it was another hell. After the saber immortal descended, countless vengeful spirits and ghosts flew out. There were also soldiers who wanted to make a move. The saber immortal snorted coldly. He released a saber intent from his eyes and directly cut through everything. He stepped in all directions and said, "Ghost immortal, come out. I have a mission." Chapter 6174. Boom. The ground in the distance cracked open, and a pitch-black coffin flew out and floated in the air. Then, the coffin opened, and an old man walked out of it. This old man was short, only about 1 meter tall, and his body was pitch black. His face was pale, and he looked very gloomy and terrifying. He chuckled and said, "Did the Grand Elder ask me to make a move? That's great. My army of 10,000 ghosts will be able to grow again." Next, the 5 Earth Immortals gathered in the Eternal Land. The 5 of them discussed for a while, and then quickly took action. They went to the 9th Serenity first. Their goal was to take down 3 cities in the 9th Serenity, plus the previous 2, that would be 5. In the next moment, they took action. In the 9th Serenity, the assassin fought fiercely against the fox. Those people in the 9th Serenity also went crazy. They were all in a killing frenzy, and some of the Earth Immortals, extremely powerful existences, took action one after another. Black Glow City. A city in the 9th Underworld was surrounded by many experts who were attacking it. Most of them were from the 9th Serenity, and some were from other realms. These people fought fiercely. Among them, there was a very powerful group. They were the subordinates of the Thunder God. These people carried powerful thunder and lightning power, which swept in all directions, and they achieved a crushing result. For a while, no one dared to fight against them. Just when they were in despair, a woman walked over. This was a beautiful woman, as if she had walked out of a dream, making everyone's eyes turn red. Those great emperor's blood was boiling. The beautiful woman said, "Help me take down this city, and I will reward you." Hearing this, many people's souls shook. A strange light appeared in their eyes, and in the next moment, they rushed over. At this time, one of the Thunder God's subordinates roared, "Is this the art of charm? It's useless to me." He roared to the sky, and the thunder and lightning on his body rushed to the sky. My thunder has the power of violent destruction. You can't charm me." As soon as he finished speaking, thousands of people around him directly attacked him. "No!" He screamed and was instantly smashed into pieces. Subsequently, tens of thousands of powerhouses attacked Black Gold City from all directions. Immortal Fox's lips curled into a smile. She stood there with her hands clasped behind her back. There was no need for her to make a move. With just a glance or a word, she could make countless experts go crazy for her. Not long after, Black Shine City was conquered and Immortal Fox walked in. On the other side, Dead Spirit City. This was also a huge city in the Nine Serenities, and it was incomparably ancient. More importantly, there were countless corpses and bones scattered all around the huge city. No one attacked this place because no one dared to come. However, on that day, an old man walked over. The old man was short and wore a black robe. There were ghostly flames dancing in his eyes. He was the Ghost Immortal. After the Ghost Immortal arrived, he formed a seal with his palm and slapped the ground. The earth cracked open. 12 coffins appeared. Every coffin was pitch black. After the coffins were opened, the surrounding bones were all sucked in. Then, it was reassembled. Soon, 12 white skeleton warriors walked out from inside. These skeletons were too powerful. They were formed from the bones of countless experts who had died. The 12 powerful skeletons began to attack the city. Not long after, the Dead Spirit City was also conquered. The two new Earth Immortals displayed their powerful and peerless divine abilities and methods. After entering, they could activate the Earth Veins. "I want to form an army of 1,000,000 skeletons." A cold light appeared in the Ghost Immortal's eyes. The reason why these cities were important was that there were Earth Veins in these ancient cities. Earth Veins were different from Spirit Veins. Some places with beautiful mountains and clear waters and strange terrains had Spirit Veins. However, there were strong and weak Spirit Veins. The good Spirit Veins were all occupied by the top families and sections. They cultivated beside the Spirit Veins and got twice the result with half the effort. Earth Veins were similar to Spirit Veins, but they were of a higher level. Earth Veins were for the Land Immortals to cultivate. However, it was not easy to find Earth Veins. At present, only in the 9 heavens and 10 earths there were Earth Veins. Moreover, even in the 9 heavens and 10 earths, only the ancient cities had them. This was also the reason why these ancient cities were so precious. Countless powerhouses wanted to attack the ancient cities. They wanted to improve and cultivate. Only by entering and absorbing the power of the Earth Veins could they do it. In fact, it was not only the Land Immortals. The Great Emperor's cultivation was also very slow outside. If they could enter the ancient city, their cultivation speed would be much faster. Of course, even if a group of Great Emperors joined forces, it would not be easy to open the ancient city. Only the Land Immortals would be able to do it. Moreover, this was just an ordinary ancient city. For example, an extremely special ancient city, even if several Land Immortals joined forces, they might not be able to open it. It could be said that the Earth Veins determined their future. Therefore, once the previous Great Emperors broke through, many of them would submit to the Nirvana realm. Because the Nirvana realm had the entire eternal land. There were many such ancient cities in the Nirvana realm. Only when they went in could they continue to cultivate. It might be difficult for the rogue cultivators to go further. The third ancient city was attacked by the Saber Immortal. This city was already occupied. It was the 9 Netherlands Immortal Crane. He led a group of people to attack an ancient city. However, the good times did not last long. After the Saber Immortal came, he directly rushed in and fought with him. The Immortal Crane was furious. He was also a Land Immortal. How could he be afraid of the other party? However, after a few moves, he was injured. He said in horror, "Why are you so strong? Is it possible that you are cultivating the immortal art?" "Yes, I am cultivating the immortal art. So you are no match for me?" The Saber Immortal's eyes burst out with an extremely cold light. Domineering Saber Immortal art. He used the immortal art to fight with the Immortal Crane. It didn't take long for the Immortal Crane to be defeated. He quickly fled with his injuries. "Damn it, just you wait." The Immortal Crane gritted his teeth. He would definitely take revenge. The saber immortal stood with his saber and said coldly, "I will wait. Remember, my name is the saber immortal. I am a strong man from the Nirvana realm. I will wait for you to take revenge." What? A strong man from the Nirvana realm? The immortal crane's body trembled. Forget it. There is no hope for revenge in this life. I'd better leave. He left dejectedly. After taking over the ancient city, the saber immortal also opened the earth veins. At the same time, he contacted the ghost immortal, fox immortal, and others to start attacking the divine realm. There were 3 cities in the divine realm. They besieged. The battle broke out in an instant. This battle was extremely terrifying. Lin Zhan roared to the sky. Originally, he was cultivating in the earth veins of a city. After feeling the change, he immediately rushed out. Kill! He roared angrily and attacked aggressively. At the same time, he sent a message to the people of the heavenly land. Soon, the remaining strong men appeared again. A great battle broke out in the 9th underworld. This time, the people of the divine realm were severely injured. Many strong men were seriously injured, and even some great emperors died. The 5 land immortals joined forces and were extremely powerful. At the critical moment, Lord Alcohol exploded. A hint of madness appeared in his eyes. Chapter 61-75. Seeing his comrade injured, Lord Alcohol's eyes turned red. At this moment, he only wanted to devour others to protect his friends. Therefore, he unleashed the power of the devouring sword. The black vortex swallowed everything and blocked the Prometheus attack. Go! Lord Alcohol and the others entered the ancient city. This time, the Prometheus' sudden sneak attack injured the divine realm. But soon, the divine realm attacked again. The battle between the two was extremely terrifying. On the other side, the Supreme Palace also participated. On the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty's side, a few powerhouses also appeared. In addition, there were the native powerhouses of the 9 Nether. The battle was extremely intense. Everyone was frantically strengthening their earth veins. From the looks of it, the battle wouldn't end in a short period of time. Saber Immortal frowned. He looked at Ghost Immortal and said, "Take your ghost army and attack other worlds. The myriad worlds need to fall into a sea of blood to provide us with strength. Also, make them submit to the Prometheus. Those who submit to me will perish. Those who resist me will perish. Those who don't submit don't need to exist." Ghost Immortal sneered and left the 9 Nether with his ghost army. They charged towards the myriad worlds. Fox Immortal even led people to the heavens. It could be said that the myriad worlds had become a battlefield. This time, it wasn't just a battle between the land immortals. In the previous 10 years, it was the top land immortals who fought. Even Lin Zhan and the others didn't make a move. But this time, it wasn't. Other than the land immortals, super great emperors, and even quasi-emperors and saints had to participate in the battle. Not long after, the sea of blood dyed the universe red. The situation could be said to be very dangerous. On this day, between heaven and earth, a phoenix soared into the 9 heavens and rushed into the clouds. She was reborn from the fire, and the terrifying phoenix phantom enveloped the 9 Nether. Everyone's bloodline trembled. Someone testified to the Tao. Was it someone from the phoenix race? Was she an enemy or a friend? The eyes of the 9 Nether race's powerhouses flickered. In the next moment, Murong Qingcheng rushed out from an ancient city. She fused with the phoenix, and then the lightning tribulation descended. The great emperor's lightning tribulation. She wanted to break through and become a great emperor. Together with the lightning tribulation, Murong Qingcheng charged towards the enemies in front of her. Quickly dodge. The people on the Prometheus side didn't dare to fight. Unless they brought the power of heavenly punishment with them, they would not be able to withstand this kind of lightning tribulation. He could only temporarily avoid the brunt of the attack. The ancient city was temporarily out of danger. At the same time, Immortal Fox was attacking an ancient city in the Heavens Land. However, at this moment, a green lotus bloomed in that ancient city. Then, the beautiful woman walked out of the green lotus. This was Yen Ruyu. She also wanted to attain her Tao. Seeing this scene, Immortal Fox's face turned ugly. Damn it! In the face of the lightning tribulation, he couldn't step forward. Furthermore, they could not borrow the power of the heavenly punishment sword this time because the Taishang was in seclusion and using the heavenly punishment sword with all his might. He was preparing for the heavenly punishment to destroy the world. Now, they could only rely on themselves. He coldly snorted. Humph. So what if the righteous path had become a great emperor? When the lightning tribulation disappears, I'll be able to kill you with a single slap. As a land immortal, he had such confidence. Meanwhile, inside the ancient city, the Empress and the others heaved a sigh of relief. That's great. Ryu has verified her Tao and bought us some time. This time, we have taken defensive measures. Even if she is an Earth immortal, she won't be able to easily enter. Activating the Earth Vein and the ancient city's array formation. Yin Ryu and Murong Qingqing had both verified their Tao and strengthened the Divine Union strength. This gave the Divine Union time to make arrangements to defend against the Prometheus attack. Apart from that, the Great Emperor clans also made their moves. Under such circumstances, they also had to enter the Heaven's Land, or the 9 underworlds to verify their Tao. Without a Great Emperor, it would be difficult to survive. Over at the various realms, the battle was extremely intense. However, Lin Xian did not know that. At this moment, Lin Xian was still in the Land of Destiny. Every once in a while, he would engage in a great battle. Great emperors and super great emperors from all over the Land of Destiny would attack him. Sometimes, they would even join forces to attack him. Lin Xian spent his time in such battles. However, his sword technique was becoming more and more terrifying. His combat strength was becoming more and more shocking. In the Land of Destiny, everyone was stunned when they heard about these battles. This Destiny's child was too strong. He had yet to be defeated. Was his name Lin Xian? No, that guy called himself Invincible Lin. God. The mad god Lin was invincible. This kid was too arrogant. He was only a great emperor, yet he dared to call himself a god? Or did he think that he would definitely become a god? Even those super great emperors were gnashing their teeth. They could not take him down. They were no match for him one-on-one. If they joined forces, he would disappear in an instant, and they would not be able to find him. This gave them a headache. However, a super great emperor said that we should not make a move for the time being. I received news that an Earth Immortal is going to make a move on him. What? The other great emperors were shocked. An Earth Immortal was going to make a move? A look of horror appeared in their eyes. Even they had to bow their heads in the face of an Earth Immortal. Not many of them had even seen an Earth Immortal before. An Earth Immortal was almost elusive. Did such a person need to change his fate? They were not sure. On this day, the Earth Immortal made a move. An Earth Immortal with white hair came and went without a trace. He was called the Wind God. The Wind God quickly found Lin Xian. Lin Xian was originally cultivating. His sword Tao was becoming more and more terrifying. However, at this moment, he suddenly opened his eyes. A shocking light appeared in his eyes. In the next moment, he felt as if he was facing a great enemy. This was because he felt a wave of pressure that came from all directions. The surrounding space completely enveloped him, making him unable to move. This was the aura of an Earth Immortal. Was an Earth Immortal about to make a move on him? It was unbelievable. All these years, he had been fighting with great emperors and super great emperors. He had never seen an Earth Immortal before. He even suspected that an Earth Immortal needed to change his fate. Could it be that such a person had not broken through his own fate? At the same time, he thought of Bayan. Why did he come to the Land of Destiny? What did Bayan want to change? Was it to change the fate of someone in Bayan? Was it the Grand Supreme? The Grand Supreme was so strong that he could sweep through the heavens and myriad worlds by himself. Did he also need to change his fate? Of course, Lin Xian did not know all of this. He did not know Bayan's secret. However, he could probably guess the origin of this Earth Immortal in front of him. In the next moment, an old man with white hair appeared in front of him. When the old man looked at Lin Xian, his eyes were filled with disillusionment. Interesting. Aren't you afraid when you see this god? Greetings, senior. Lin Xian bowed and said, to be honest, I've seen too many Earth Immortals. I'm not afraid. Because one day, I'll reach this realm too. Hearing this, a light appeared in the wind god's eyes. He's seen too many Earth immortals? To be honest, he did not believe it. One had to know that Earth immortals did not have so much time to walk outside. Most of them were cultivating in seclusion. Where did this little guy see so many Earth immortals? Chapter 61-76. Wind God felt that the kid in front of him was lying. But after looking at him for a while, he felt that the other party was very calm, as if he was really not afraid of him. This made him extremely curious. What was this little guy's trump card? Lin Xian smiled and said, "Senior, why did you come to me? Is it for fate?" "That's right." Wind God nodded. "It seems that I don't need to do anything. Young man, tell me everything you know." Although he didn't take any action, he wouldn't fight like the other great emperors. However, Wind God's words seemed to carry an unquestionable aura. Not to mention the great emperors, even the super great emperors would have to kneel down and accept their fate. However, Lin Xian smiled. "Senior, I really want to know. Even with your cultivation level, you can't escape fate? Jumping out of fate and not in reincarnation. Easier said than done." Wind God sighed. Hearing this, Lin Xian frowned. It seemed that even the land immortals couldn't escape fate, and he seemed to have done it. He had broken through his own fate. He had done something that even the land immortals couldn't do. Thinking of this, Lin Xian couldn't help but smile. He was really heaven-defying. Wind God frowned. "Kid, are you mocking me? Do you know? No one has been able to break through fate and jump out of reincarnation. No one." Lin Xian said, "Senior, to tell you the truth, I can become the child of fate because I broke my own fate." "What? That's impossible." Wind God was shocked. His eyes widened as he stared at Lin Xian. Suddenly, the surrounding wind and clouds surged. Lin Xian felt like he was about to vomit blood. Damn it, land immortals are terrifying. But so what? One day, I will also reach this realm. I will even become stronger than land immortals. Lin Xian took out the immortal slaying sword and circled around him to resist Wind God's pressure. The two collided, making a clanging sound. Wind God retracted his power and then said in surprise, "Divine weapon." One had to know that he was also excited just now. He reckoned that the power was enough to tear apart the body of a super martial emperor. This little guy's body merely swayed a little. This was all thanks to the divine artifact. There was a hint of passion in his eyes. But Lin Xian said, "The divine weapon given by the Fane of Destiny is not bad." He didn't want to offend the Fortune Shrine, so he immediately changed his mind. He stared at Lin Xian and said, "What do you mean by that?" "It's very simple. I didn't need the help of the Shrine of Destiny to break my fate." After Wind God heard this, he felt that his mind was a little blank. Why did he feel that chatting with this kid was so heart-wrenching? He did not believe it at all. "How did you do it?" Lin Xian said, "Fuse the power of the deities, and you'll be able to do it." "It wasn't difficult." "Not difficult? Damn you." Wind God was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Fusing the power of the gods. What a joke. Who could do that? Even Earth immortals like them couldn't do it. He didn't even dare to think about it. Lin Xian condensed a ball of power of the gods and floated in the air. He said, "Senior, take a look." Wind God didn't believe it at first, but when he saw this ball of power of the gods, he fell silent. He felt his heart bleeding. Previously, he thought that this kid was lying, but he found that the other party really did it. This was the power of the gods. An unprecedented power appeared in the hands of a young man. Lin Xian nodded and retracted the power of the gods. Then he said, "Senior, this is the secret of destiny. Condense the power of the gods and break your fate. You can surpass everything. It's very simple. Senior, you can try it." "Simple?" The corner of Wind God's mouth twitched. He turned around and disappeared. Lin Xian was surprised. "Senior, why are you leaving? Don't you want to chat? I still have a lot of experience in fusing the power of the gods. Do you want to hear it?" Boom. As soon as Lin Xian finished speaking, the air around him instantly turned into a big hand and enveloped him. Then, the ground cracked, and he was beaten into the ground. With a bang, Lin Xian walked out of the ground and patted the soil off his body. He smiled. The land immortal was so narrow-minded. He only chatted for a while. Did he have to send him flying? Of course, the other party only sent him flying and didn't dare to hurt him, because he was now representing the Temple of Destiny. This surprised Lin Xian. It seemed that the Temple of Destiny was more terrifying than he had imagined. Even the land immortals didn't dare to offend it. On the contrary, those great emperors and super great emperors didn't understand the terror of the Temple of Destiny. They kept chasing after him. When God went back, someone was waiting for him. How was it? Did you find out the secret of destiny? One of them asked. He was looking forward to it. This person was Fire God. In addition, there was an illusion in the void. This illusion was extremely illusory, but it was also a land immortal. Wind God glanced at the two of them and then snorted coldly. I'm going into seclusion. If there's nothing else, get lost. Old Man Wind, you want to play with us? Fire God frowned. Another illusory voice also said, you want to monopolize the secret of destiny. Wind God was furious. Destiny, destiny, destiny? You talk about destiny in front of me all day long. If you have the ability, go and break through destiny yourself. Don't bother me. After that, Wind God went into seclusion and didn't come out. Fire God frowned. No, I have to go. I can't let this old guy monopolize it. He also went to find Lin Xian. A few days later, he came back with an extremely depressed expression. The illusory figure asked him, what's going on? Fire God said angrily, I want to kill that kid. If it weren't for the Temple of Destiny, I would have slapped him to death 100 times. It was too infuriating. Fire God was very upset. He finally knew why Wind God was so angry that he went into seclusion. He went to find Lin Xian. In the end, he didn't need to threaten him at all. The other party told him the secret of destiny. That kid's smiling face was still echoing in his mind. Senior, it's very simple. Fuse the power of the immortals. I have a lot of experience. Fire God vomited blood on the spot. Fusing the power of the immortals was a path of certain death. No one could succeed. Was this guy messing with him? However, when he saw the power of the immortals, Fire God's eye almost fell out. This child of destiny had actually fused with the power of the immortals. The other party's casual look made him want to slap him to death. In the end, he hurriedly left. If he continued to chat with this kid, he would go crazy. The power of the immortals? The illusory figure sucked in a breath of cold air. Could that kind of thing really be fused? How terrifying would the power be after the fusion? Fire God said, I don't know. However, according to the previous situation, an ordinary great emperor like him could defeat a super great emperor alone. This was a battle above his level. Do you know how difficult it is to fight above the level of a great emperor? Unless you have a divine artifact. But this kid could fight above his level without a divine artifact. This was probably the power of the immortals. If he became a super great emperor, wouldn't he be able to fight against a land immortal? The illusory figure felt incredulous when he thought of this. Such a thing had never happened before. Under the land immortals, all were ants. They were godlike existences. Fire God said angrily, who knows? I don't think he can become a super great emperor in his life. When he said this, he was full of resentment. Chapter 61-77. After 100 years, ordinary people had already completed one cycle of reincarnation, birth, old age, illness, and death. And for powerful cultivators, it was only one closed-door cultivation. For example, the Wind God and the Fire God would be in closed-door cultivation for hundreds or thousands of years. On this day, Lin Xian opened his eyes. It had been 100 years, and it was finally the appointed time. Lin Xian looked into the distance, and his figure flashed. He headed to the Temple of Destiny. At the same time, in the Temple of Destiny, the main god's hall, the goddess of destiny also walked out from inside. She took a deep breath. During this period of time, they had been secretly observing Lin Xian. In 100 years, the other party had experienced countless battles, and even land immortals had gone to look for him. In the end, The other party had survived without any danger. Thinking about it, the other party was already on his way. Then, the heaven-defying change of fate was about to begin. To change the fate of a person who had fused with the power of an immortal, the Temple of Destiny had to pay a huge price. It was unimaginable. The land immortals of the Temple of Destiny would probably have to go all out and consume a lot of energy. Sometimes, this kind of consumption could not be recovered. But they decided to take a gamble. Lin Xian might be the person they were looking for, and he might be able to open the door of hope. When they arrived outside the Temple of Destiny, the Great Elder was already waiting there. Lin Gongzi, please. The Great Elder invited Lin Xian in. They headed to the Seventh Sky Island. There, the Goddess of Destiny was already waiting. Seeing her again, Lin Xian also sighed. He said, 100 years have passed. Can you change my fate for me? The Goddess of Destiny said, yes. You have lived for 100 years and escaped countless pursuits. This proves that you are indeed strong and worthy of us changing for you. However, the price we have to pay for your change is great. You have to agree to one condition. What condition? Help us open the door of hope. What is the door of hope? Lin Xian was stunned. You don't need to know what the Goddess of Destiny said yet. You just need to remember this sentence. What is your answer? Lin Xian said, yes. In order to change his fate, he had waited so long. Naturally, he would not refuse to open the door of hope. He didn't know what the gate of hope was. You've already sworn to the compass of fate, so you can't go back on your word. Come with me. Next, the Goddess of Fate brought him to the main temple of the 33rd heaven. When he arrived at this place, Lin Xian was truly astounded. Was this the core of the Temple of Fortune? After entering the main shrine, Lin Xian saw an incomparably vast world. At the same time, there were a few terrifying auras in the surroundings. They were the auras of earth gods. At the same time, there was an even larger destiny compass in the sky. Walk to the center of the hall. Next, I will change your fate. The Goddess of Fate also retreated to the side. This time, it was up to the experts of the main shrine to take action. Lin Xian was enveloped by the destiny compass. Several peerless experts took action to change his fate. Defying the heavens and changing one's fate meant breaking the original fate and forming a new fate. Naturally, one could not break a birth chart with their own strength. No matter if you are a great emperor or an earth immortal, you can't do it. It was truly a surprise that Lin Xian could do it. Lin Xian's uncle's fate had been broken and a new fate had not been condensed. Now, these people were helping Lin Xian condense a new fate. Of course, this process was extremely difficult and no mistakes were allowed. The Goddess of Fate left the main shrine and guarded outside. It was unknown how long this process would take. To be honest, he was not sure if it would succeed or not. After all, they had never seen the power of an immortal like Lin Xian. It could only be said that everything was unknown. Just as Lin Xian was changing his fate, the outside world had already undergone earth-shaking changes. After decades of war, the universe's starry sky was shattered. There were spatial rifts and black holes everywhere. The buried Emperor's star was also affected. This time, many experts descended on the buried Emperor's star, preparing to take action. It couldn't be helped. The buried Emperor's star was a very special planet. Previously, the Permitha had been fighting in the Nine Netherland and couldn't care about the buried Emperor's star. However, many experts had come out of the buried Emperor's star in recent years. Lin Xian went without saying. He had attained his Tao in the universe and had gone to the land of his destiny. Now, he had disappeared. In addition, Murong Qingsheng and Yin Ruyu had come out of the buried Emperor's star and attained their Tao. There were also Yi Wudao, Gu Santong, Northern Demon, and Zhong Lingxiu. There were too many geniuses. On the buried Emperor's star, there were many great emperor clans and even some forbidden lands. Therefore, this time, the Permitha had decided to take action against the buried Emperor's star. The person in charge of this matter was Ghost Immortal. Of course, with his identity as an Earth Immortal, there was no need for him to come here. While he was fighting in the land of the heavens, he sent his Emperor's son over. Young Master Gue. Young Master Gue brought countless experts. When the war broke out, many clans and sects were no match for them. Their souls were directly taken away, and they became vengeful spirits. As for the other clans, such as the Great Emperor clans, they all activated their extreme Tao weapons. They resisted. The people of the Divine Union also came back to fight. However, the situation was not optimistic. The 100 Ghost Army was too terrifying. It was one of the 10,000 ghost armies. However, in the hands of young Master Gu, it was extremely terrifying. More importantly, the other party could control souls. Once an expert was killed, the vengeful spirits and remnant souls would be controlled and turned into an even more terrifying power to attack them. Now, apart from a few forbidden lands and Great Emperor clans, the buried Emperor's Star was not safe. The other places were not safe at all. Fortunately, with these extreme-grade weapons, they formed several extreme-grade lands to resist the attacks. However, on this day, young Master Gu forcefully condensed the King of 100 Ghost, causing the 100 Ghost Army to become even stronger. Immediately, they began to attack the extreme Dao lands. For example, the Stone Clan, Jade Clan, and Wind Clan were all attacked. Their clan's sacred lands were destroyed. Many people were captured and their souls were taken away. Those desolate ancient clans were incomparably miserable. Even the Qilin clan's defenses were torn apart. Many experts of the Qilin clan died. Fortunately, the Gu clan and Yi clan immediately came to their aid and blocked the attack. Otherwise, the Qilin clan would have been destroyed. In an instant, the people of the buried Emperor's Star were extremely nervous. On the Divine Union side, Bai Susu, Shangguan Shaoxian, and the others were also pale. Given the current situation, we won't be able to hold on for long unless the people from the deity domain arrive. Fu Hongye shook her head. I'm afraid it will be very difficult. This is not the main battlefield. The 9 underworld energy and heaven energy are the main battlefield. Those super great emperors and earthly immortals all have their own opponents. It will be too difficult for them to send their clones over. We can only rely on ourselves. Boom. Just as she finished speaking, a huge claw suddenly swiped down from the sky and struck the Divine Union. The Divine Union shook violently. Fortunately, the Divine Union had extreme Dao weapons to resist. Otherwise, they would not be able to hold on. The Divine Union's extreme Dao weapons were the weapons that Lin Xian had obtained after killing those great emperors. At this moment, the Divine Union had a total of 3 extreme Dao weapons. They supported each other and formed a solid defense. Even so, they were still shocked. What was going on? They looked up at the sky. They saw a dragon shadow appear in the sky. Was the Dragon Clan attacking them? Impossible. Chapter 6178. A huge dragon silhouette appeared in the sky, releasing a terrifying aura. It waved its claws, tearing the sky apart. It was an expert from the dragon tribe. The people of the Divine Union were stunned. After all, Lin Xian was the dragon god who had founded the Dragon Valley. He was in the deity ground. The entire dragon tribe had submitted. How could someone attack him now? Lin Xian, come out and die. A cold voice came from the sky. It was a woman's voice, and it was very vicious. Bai Susu and the others' expressions changed. Oh no, could it be the Dragon Empress, Longyu? Lin Xian had killed the Dragon Prince. Back then, the Dragon Empress had awakened from her slumber and led the Dragon Generals to fight Lin Xian. In the end, the Dragon Generals had been killed and the Dragon Empress had been severely injured. At the crucial moment, the Dragon Emperor had saved the Dragon Empress. From then on, she had disappeared without a trace and had never appeared again. She had not even appeared when Lin Xian had confirmed his Tao. Who would have thought that she would appear now when the deity ground and the deity ground were fighting? If you want to fight, I'll accompany you. At that moment, an even louder dragon roar came from afar. The people of the Divine Union exclaimed, "It's Ruzalong. He's here. That's great." Bai Susu and the others were also shocked. Judging from the other party's aura, Ruzalong had confirmed his Tao. That's right. The Crimson Dragon had confirmed his Tao in the Azure Land and become an emperor. At that moment, he had rushed back and saw Longyu attacking the Divine Union. He immediately roared. His tail was like a heavenly blade that rushed out and hit Longyu. Long Yu rolled on the ground. You're courting death. Long Yu roared at the sky and spat out a huge bolt of lightning. This bolt of lightning could split the sky. It hit the Crimson Dragon, causing many of the Crimson Dragon's dragon scales to fall off. In the next moment, the two dragons fought in the sky. Damn it! I'm the Dragon Empress of the 10,000 Dragons Court. 10,000 dragons, submit to me. How dare you attack me? Long Yu roared crazily. The Crimson Dragon sneered. The 1,000 Dragons dynasty was destroyed long ago. What right do you have to be arrogant in front of the dragons? Not to mention in front of Ben Huang. Boom, boom, boom. The battle between the two became more and more intense. The power of the Crimson Dragon's earth scripture caused Long Yu to roll on the ground. Many of his dragon scales were broken, and his dragon horns were shattered. That's great. I managed to suppress him. The members of the Divine Union cheered when they saw this. However, at this moment, above the 9 heavens, another dragon claw swiped down. Not good. The Crimson Dragon's expression changed, and it quickly dodged. However, the claw still landed on its body. Half of its tail was slapped off, and blood splattered everywhere. With a roar, he quickly dodged and hid in the Divine Union. Are you hurt? Fu Hongya and the others were nervous. Marshal Uncle Shenlong, how are you? Damn it. Ben Huang was in so much pain. The Crimson Dragon bared its fangs. At the same time, he was shocked. How could this be? Did the Dragon Emperor come out? One had to know that after he became the Arch, his strength had increased greatly. With his bloodline and the Earth Scripture, defeating Long Yu was not a problem at all. Now, only the Dragon Emperor could injure him with a single palm. The other party had been the Arch for a long time. Who knew what realm he was at now? Perhaps he had already become a super Arch. If that was the case, it would be troublesome. Brother Tian. Long Yu was overjoyed. Her broken body healed, and she flew above the 9 heavens, transforming into a female figure once again. At the same time, a tall man appeared in the sky. This person had a pair of dragon horns on his forehead, and the dragon aura on his body was extremely terrifying. I am the Dragon Emperor. You're just a little dragon. Why aren't you submitting to me? Long Outyan's voice was extremely cold, and it resounded throughout the land. At this moment, the hidden Emperor Star trembled. Had the Dragon Emperor appeared? The Yi and Gu families were shocked. This was the founder of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. After countless years, the other party had appeared again. They were both shocked and envious. They did not know where their family's ancestors had gone. For example, where were the Void the Arch, the Qilin Emperor, and the Kuanpeng the Arch? In the sky, Long Xiaoyan's gaze fell. Since Lin Xian is not here, I'll kill you all first. I'll suppress your souls, string them into chains, and make you suffer by my side forever. When that Lin Wudi appears, I'll kill him. After saying that, he began to counterattack the Divine Union. The Crimson Dragon and the others roared. As they moved, they activated their 3 extreme-grade weapons. At the same time, they sent a voice transmission to the Yi and Gu families. Attack together. I'm afraid he has become a super the Arch. We can't suppress him. The Divine Union erupted. 3 extreme-grade auras shot into the sky. At the same time, the Crimson Dragon's the Arch power also erupted. The Toad had also returned. However, he was still a half-step the Arch, not a complete the Arch. Shangguan Shaoxian, Fu Hongya, Bai Susu, and the others were all quasi-thearchs. There was no choice. Even if one could become the Arch in the Azure Land and the 9 underworlds, it was really too difficult to become the Arch. Now, on the Divine Union side, besides Murong Qingqing and Yin Ruyu, only the Crimson Dragon had proven his Dao again and become the Arch. A great battle broke out in an instant. Although there were a few extreme-grade weapons, Long Xiaoyan was not afraid at all. He used his exceptional mystique and summoned the clouds and rain. 9 clouds and clouds. Above the 9 heavens, wind and clouds gathered, and a terrifying force came crashing down. The 3 extreme-grade weapons dimmed. However, at this moment, the Gu and Yi families also made their move. Terrifying immortal king phantoms and terrifying spatial rifts spread all over. Long Xiaotian roared. Do you all want to die too? In that case, I'll fulfill your wishes." Long Xiaotian roared at the sky and transformed into a terrifying dragon. Long Yu also moved out with him. The two dragons attacked, sweeping across the sky and earth. It seemed like not only did they want to destroy the divine union, but they also wanted to destroy the Arch families. The Gu and Yi families were hurt. Many people were injured and died. Some people on the divine union side vomited blood. Some people even died. The Crimson Dragon's eyes were red. "Long Xiaotian, you're courting death. We can't do anything to you, but Lin Xian will definitely kill you when he returns." "Kill me? Humph. I'm afraid he won't be able to return in this lifetime." Long Xiaotian snorted and continued to attack. He spewed out terrifying seawater, forming a dragon sea that pressed down directly. He wanted to bury the divine union under the sea. However, at this moment, an iron rod flew over from far away. "See calming divine needle." It directly pierced through the sea. Long Xiaotian retreated as if he had been struck by lightning and spat out a mouthful of dragon blood. "Brother Tian." Long Yu was extremely nervous. Long Xiaotian gritted his teeth. "It's a divine weapon. Damn it." He had not expected that at this critical moment there would still be someone who could deal with them. "Go." Long Xiaotian fled. The people of the divine union below heaved a sigh of relief. The toad said, "Is it the battle god?" The Crimson Dragon shook his head. "No. If it was the battle god, that rod would have destroyed Long Xiaotian's heart and soul. I think it should be Sun Qitian." That monkey attacked again. Sure enough, the sea-steadying needles were withdrawn. At the same time, Sun Qitian's voice was heard. "Be careful, don't go out again. I can't rush over now." As soon as he finished speaking, Sun Qitian's figure disappeared from sight. The situation was really dangerous. The Crimson Dragon and the others had solemn expressions. There were battles everywhere now, and there were too many enemies. There was the other shore, the Supreme Hall, the 9 Serenities, and now Long Xiaotian had appeared. It could be said that there were enemies everywhere. He wondered how Lin Xian was doing. Did he successfully go to the land of destiny? Did he defy the heavens and change his fate? If he did not return, they would not be able to hold on. At the same time, in the Destiny Shrine of the Land of Destiny, Lin Xian opened his eyes. Chapter 6179. The crisis brought about by the Dragon Emperor was temporarily resolved. The Divine Union heaved a sigh of relief. However, young Master Gue came again. He led hundreds of ghosts and formed the Ghost Tribe. They were everywhere, collecting the souls of the powerhouses in the hidden Emperor Star. This was much more terrifying than the crisis brought about by the Dragon Emperor. For a moment, everyone was terrified. Before long, the Kuan Pong tribe's extreme weapon defense was penetrated. Many of the elders' souls were taken away. Next, the Yi family and the Gu family were attacked. Retreat. Retreat quickly. These great emperor clans joined forces at this moment. It couldn't be helped. A single extreme weapon couldn't completely resist the other party. Even the Divine Union had been affected. That great battle was extremely terrifying. The Crimson Dragon and the others were also forced to leave wholly distant ancient city. During this process, Shangguan Shaoxian, Nalan Liang, and the others were also captured. Their souls had been sucked away. It wasn't just them. Even the savage wilderness ancestor was the same. The fantasy world ancestor's soul was severely injured. The fantasy world ancestor was originally a soul expert. However, he couldn't resist the army of ghosts. Ha ha ha. Young Master Gue laughed. These captured souls were all sealed under the soul-suppressing pagoda. The soul-suppressing pagoda was extremely terrifying. It was a powerful extreme weapon. In the soul-suppressing pagoda, these souls were tortured endlessly. Damn it. The Crimson Dragon and the others roared and led people to sneak attack the soul-suppressing pagoda, wanting to save the people inside. However, they still failed. Not only that, but they were also injured even more. You can't escape. Young Master Gue's eyes were filled with extremely cold killing intent. Then, he urged the army of ghosts to attack again. On this planet, the more powerhouses died, the stronger his army of ghosts would be. It seemed like it wouldn't be difficult to completely destroy the hidden Emperor Star. At the same time, In the mysterious Destiny land, in the Destiny Shrine, Lin Xian opened his eyes. He stood up and roared at the sky. At this moment, a force passed through the Destiny Shrine and pierced through heaven and earth. The entire land of Destiny was in turmoil. At this moment, everyone was shocked. What kind of force was this? They raised their heads and looked into the distance. All living beings below the great Emperor realm prostrated themselves before him. The great emperors trembled. The super great emperors were terrified too. Even the earth immortals were alarmed and stood up one by one. The wind god and fire god were no longer in seclusion. They walked out and cried out in surprise. Was it that brat's power? Had his divine, immortal power completely stabilized? They had seen Lin Xian before and knew that Lin Xian possessed the power of an immortal. However, they could also see that Lin Xian's divine power could not be used at will. However, at this moment, they could sense that the power of the gods seemed to have become even more stable. It was different from before. Was this kid about a breakthrough? This was too heaven-defying. After becoming a martial monarch, it was extremely difficult to improve his cultivation any further. Every tens of thousands of years, or even hundreds of thousands of years, they might not succeed. But now, this kid was only 100 years old, and his strength was going to advance by leaps and bounds? As expected of the child of destiny. In the Shrine of Destiny, Lin Xian was also delighted. He felt that at this moment, he was using the power of the gods, and his body would no longer be affected. This feeling was really great. Thank you, seniors. Lin Xian looked at the figures in the sky and bowed deeply. Indeed, without the Shrine of Destiny, he probably wouldn't be in this state. Did he succeed? The voices in the sky also heaved a sigh of relief. To be honest, they were only half confident. After all, this was something they had never experienced before. However, it seemed that the progress was very good. Outside the hall, the goddess of destiny also walked over. After seeing Lin Xian, she took a deep breath. The other party had become different. He was like a peerless divine sword, revealing his sharpness. You succeeded. Congratulations. The goddess of destiny smiled. Lin Xian nodded and then said, Where is the Gate of Hope? I'll help you open it. I'll do my best, but can I succeed? I'm not sure either. Lin Xian was now very curious. What is the Gate of Hope? However, a beautiful middle-aged woman in the sky said, No, it's not in a hurry. Now, you can't open the Gate of Destiny. What do you mean? Lin Xian was stunned. He said, Senior, after the power of the gods is stabilized, I will leave the place of destiny. I'm afraid I won't have a chance to come back in the future. The middle-aged woman said, You will come back. Although we have temporarily helped you stabilize the power of the gods, it is not permanent. However, it is not permanent. You need to come back again. Come back again? Lin Xian was stunned. The middle-aged woman said, What we helped you stabilize is actually not the power of the gods, but your new fate. However, your fate is too rare. Now it seems that the fate has been condensed, but what will the result be? We can't say. So, we think that in 400 years, you can come again. At that time, we should be able to study it thoroughly. Let's completely condense your new fate. Of course, during this period, you can leave this place. Come again in 400 years? No problem. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. As long as he could go back now, it was fine. Of course, he didn't forget that he had other things to do. Senior, do you mean that I will come again in 400 years and then open the Gate of Hope? That's right. The middle-aged woman said, We will give you a token. When the time comes, you can come over. With that, she waved her hand, and a token of the Fane of Destiny appeared in front of Lin Xian. Lin Xian carefully put it away. With this thing, he could come back again. By the way, there is one more thing. I want to find a person named Yi. I don't know if the seniors have heard of him. Of course, Lin Xian wouldn't forget that before he came, Lord Alcohol, the fighting god, and the others had specially instructed him. He had to find this person, because this was very important to the future battles of the divine realm. The peerless experts in the sky were stunned when they heard this name. Then, they seemed to remember something. So it's him. They waved their hands, and the destiny compass in the sky began to spin again. Then, a little light flickered. However, it soon disappeared. Lin Xian was stunned. He had some understanding of the destiny compass. The stars on it were each person's destiny. That starlight had disappeared. Could it be that he had died? What should he do? Lin Xian was a little stunned. However, the middle-aged woman said, "We know what you mean by E. However, you can't find him now, because he was still not E." What's going on? Lin Xian was even more confused. The middle-aged woman said, "Let's talk about it next time. When you come again in 400 years, E might appear." Who is this E? Why hasn't he appeared now? Why is he so important to the divine realm? Lord Alcohol and the fighting god didn't tell him all this. He wanted to ask the experts in the sky. However, those peerless experts just smiled and didn't say anything. This is your business. If you want to know, go back and ask your elders. All right. Lin Xian nodded. This was the only way for now. Although he couldn't find E, his situation was temporarily resolved. This way, there was no need for him to stay in the land of destiny. He said, "Senior, how can I leave? I want to go back." "Go. Remember, today, for 100 years later, you must come back. Otherwise, we can't predict what will happen to your destiny." "I will remember." Lin Xian thanked him again. Then, he and the goddess of destiny left the main temple. Chapter 6180. The goddess of destiny took Lin Xian to the ninth sky island. There was a huge spatial door that allowed Lin Xian to leave. When Lin Xian arrived at the island, he found that the spatial door was completely sealed. Moreover, there was a desolate aura around it. The goddess of destiny said, "This teleportation station hasn't been opened for a long time. You are the first to use it in 1,000,000 years." After saying this, the goddess of destiny took out a piece of metal from her storage ring. It was a triangular piece of metal. She placed it in the center of the array. Only then was the entire array complete. In the next moment, she injected power into the array and slowly activated it. "Go. Stand on the teleportation array, and you will leave the land of destiny. 400 years later, when you come back, you must crush that token. You only have one chance. Don't forget." Crush the token? Lin Xian was surprised. Then, he understood. This should be the self-protection of the land of destiny. If this token was permanent, there would probably be an endless stream of people coming in. But now, this token could only be used once. Even if it was taken away, it would only be replaced by another person. It wouldn't affect the overall situation. Of course, Lin Xian wouldn't let others take this token away. He carefully placed it in the small world, waved his hand, and said goodbye to the goddess of destiny. In the next moment, Lin Xian stepped into the teleportation array. His figure disappeared. He was gone. The first elder flew over from afar and said as he looked at the slowly closing array. The goddess of destiny nodded. She removed the piece of metal in the center of the array again and put it in the storage ring. Then she said, "It seems that the battle outside has begun. For 100 years. Do you think he can come back alive?" "He should be able to." The first elder said, "After all, he has condensed the power of an immortal. He is a unique existence in the world. Well, let's wait for him for 400 years." In the starry sky of the universe, a spatial door opened, and a figure walked out from it. This figure was naturally Lin Xian. He had just teleported back from the land of destiny. The moment he came out, he felt dizzy. This was an extremely long-distance teleportation. Even with his body and soul, he found it somewhat difficult to endure. After coming out, he waved his hand and took out the immortal slaying sword to defend himself. After a while, his soul slowly stabilized. In the next moment, he looked around. The surroundings were very quiet. However, Lin Xian furrowed his brows. The reason for that was because he discovered that there were many spatial cracks in his surroundings. Those spatial cracks were extremely frightening. It didn't seem to have healed. This stunned him. Was there a great battle here? I wonder how the myriad worlds have been in the past 100 years. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath, rose into the air, and flew into the distance. However, after half a day, His expression turned incomparably cold. Considering his speed, he must have flown through many galaxies in just half a day. However, there were black holes and cracks everywhere. In addition, he also saw some withered planets. Some stars were split in half by the sword. Some of the stars were torn apart. There were also stars that were extremely dry. All the living beings on them had been destroyed, leaving only countless bones. What exactly happened? Lin Xian was stunned. Logically speaking, even if there were some strange stars in the myriad worlds, there shouldn't be so many of them. Along the way, there wasn't a single intact star. Had the World War become so terrifying? Finally, on a planet that was missing half of its surface, Lin Xian saw some people. These people were injured all over their bodies. They were very weak and their faces were pale. When they saw someone arrive, they were as if they were facing a great enemy. Lin Xian walked over. He threw out some pills for these people to absorb. At the same time, he asked, "What exactly is going on? Why is this universe so broken?" When those people saw the pills, they immediately snatched them and swallowed them. Hearing Lin Xian's words, they were all stunned. "Young master, you don't know? Young master, where have you been for the past 100 years? Lin Xian said, "I was cultivating in seclusion in a place. I didn't expect to become like this after I came out." "So that's how it is," one of the middle-aged men said. 100 years ago, Lin Wudi proved his Tao in the universe and caused a battle between the Divine Realm and the Prometha Realm. That battle lasted for decades, and both sides were immortal-level figures. That battle caused many large cracks to appear in the universe, as well as countless black holes. Some worlds were reduced to ashes. Lin Xian was shocked when he heard this. They actually fought for decades. It was really beyond his expectations. He asked, "What's the result?" Right now, he was very worried about Lin Zhan, Lord Nine, and the others. The middle-aged man said, "I heard that the two sides fought to a draw and went back respectively. Originally, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. However, the good times didn't last long. A few years later, the Prometha realm attacked crazily again. At first, they fought in the netherworld. Later, they went to the heavenly land. These have nothing to do with us. However, the Prometha realm seems to be really crazy. They actually sent people to attack the myriad worlds. I once saw with my own eyes that countless ghosts swept across the world. The souls of half of the powerhouses in our world were captured." "Did the Prometha realm do it?" Lin Xian frowned tightly. The middle-aged man said, "Yes, I originally thought that the battle between the Prometha realm and the realm of the gods was just to prove their Tao. Later, I realized that it wasn't like that at all. The people of the Prometha realm are too arrogant. Those who submit will prosper, and those who resist will die. The Prometha realm once sent people to suppress one side. Anyone who tried to resist would be killed immediately. Some even became puppets and lived a life worse than death. On the other hand, the realm of the gods didn't attack other families and sects except for the Battle of Tao. To be honest, we used to think that these two sides were the same. Now it seems that it's not like that at all. We hoped that the realm of the gods would win and defeat the Prometha realm, but now it seems that they are more terrifying than the Prometha realm. Young master, I think you'd better go back and cultivate in seclusion. It's very dangerous to come out. If a genius like you is targeted by the Prometha realm, you will either die or surrender. But which genius is willing to lower his head and be a slave?" Lin Xian's face turned cold after hearing this. The battle was more terrifying than he had imagined. Were the myriad worlds affected? Damn it. He took out a few bottles of elixirs and gave them to these people, saying, "Find a place to hide and recuperate. Don't come out again. As for the Prometha realm, leave it to us. Don't worry, one day, I will personally end the Prometha realm." After saying that, Lin Xian soared into the sky and disappeared. Along the way, he encountered a few more shattered worlds. This made his face extremely ugly. Even the worlds that were unrelated to him were like this. What happened to the realm of the gods that was related to him? There was also the Divine Union and the hidden Emperor Star. Now, he had to go back quickly. Thinking of this, he sped up and turned into a bolt of lightning. In an instant, he tore through the void. Finally, he arrived near the hidden Emperor's star. Looking from afar, Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that the hidden Emperor's star was still intact. It seemed that it hadn't suffered too much damage. However, as he landed, his brows furrowed tightly. Why did he feel that there was a trace of ghost fog pervading the entire hidden Emperor's star? This gloomy and cold aura made him extremely uncomfortable. What happened? Chapter 6181. Sensing the changes in the hidden Emperor's star, Lin Xian furrowed his brows. He recalled what he had heard from other planets. Was this the 10,000 ghost army? He snorted coldly as his soul spirit began to search the area. In the next moment, he was stunned. Then, he quickly rushed over. In the mountains and rivers below, there was a giant python. It was a black python that was 10,000 meters long. Its body was huge, and its scales were cold and radiant. There were many figures standing on top of this giant python. Most of them had their bodies pierced through by the black chains. These chains had an extremely cold aura that flickered. The powerhouses who had been pierced through were seriously injured and could not resist at all. Not only that, but there was a needle in their heads. It was a very thin black needle. If one did not look carefully, one would not be able to tell that it was a spirit-stabilizing needle. It was this needle that had pierced the souls of these powerhouses. These powerhouses could only be tortured and could not escape. They could not even self-destruct. Damn it, let me go if you have the guts. Among them, there was a tall figure who gritted his teeth and roared. One-on-one? You? You were just a prisoner. Around them, there were some people in black robes. However, what was under the black robes was not a body, but a soul. They were indeed ghosts. These were the members of the 10,000 Ghost Army. Of course, they now called themselves the Ghost Race. These people from the Ghost Race sneered. One of them, called Gue Ling, slapped the tall man's face. Just you? You are not qualified to challenge us. Later, we will send you to the Soul Pagoda and begin to extract your souls. Aren't you very arrogant? I will turn you into an extremely terrifying battle servant. I will make you crawl under my feet forever. Ha ha ha. He laughed proudly. The tall man was so angry that he vomited blood. A look of despair appeared in the eyes of the others. Next, they would either be swallowed and turned into nutrients or become puppets. In short, they would rather die. Damn it. Just you wait. Someone will come to save us. Someone will destroy all of you. The tall man spoke again. Save you? Are you talking about the people from the Divine Union? The Divine Union was beaten up and left the ancient city. Where are you hiding now? You don't even know. Are you still hoping that someone will save you? Gue Ling sneered. We still have Lin Xian. He will come back one day. Lin Xian? How could a person whose fate was unknown still be alive? The ghost clansman sneered and remained unmoved. It seems that the chains given to you are too few. Men, give him 7 more chains and run them through his internal organs. Yes. A few more black-robed men floated over. Chains appeared in their hands as they charged towards the tall man. The tall man roared towards the sky. However, he was unable to resist. At this moment, a cold snort came from afar. Then, a sword light flashed and the chain was cut in half. The 2 black-robed men who attacked were also killed. Killing 2 ghost clansmen with a single sword strike stunned everyone. The 10,000-meter-long black python stopped as well. Gue Ling shouted in a low voice, "Enemy!" In the next moment, everyone acted as if they were facing a great enemy. Gue Ling looked around and shouted coldly, "Who was it? How dare you go against the Ghost Clan? Are you tired of living?" Wong. There was no reply, only an extremely cold sword light descending from the sky. In an instant, it pierced through Gue Ling's body. His black battle robe was destroyed, and he turned into a soul that wanted to escape. However, he was pierced through in an instant. With a clang, this sword chi not only pierced through Gue Ling, but it also pierced through the python and nailed it to the ground. The python let out a painful roar. On the other hand, Gue Ling was incomparably mournful. It was as if his soul had been shattered. Ah, damn it. Attack. The members of the 10,000 Ghost Army looked around and wanted to attack. However, with a slash of the sword, dozens of Ghost Clansmen died. At this moment, the Ghost Clansmen were stunned. Who was it? Was there anyone on the hidden Emperor planet who could contend against them? One had to know that when the 10,000 Ghost Army appeared, the great Emperor clans were destroyed. Even extreme weapons could not stop them. They had even captured many people from the Divine Union. On this planet, they were the kings. They were high and mighty. However, someone dared to challenge them. This was unforgivable. You all really deserve to die. In the sky, a figure descended. Everyone turned their heads to look. Who are you? The Ghost Clansmen roared angrily. The experts who were pierced by the chains were also stunned. A trace of confusion appeared in their eyes. However, the tall man was so excited that he started to tremble. Lin Gongzi, you're back. You're finally back. Ha ha ha. I'm not dreaming, am I? He looked up to the sky and laughed. The others exclaimed in surprise. Lin Gongzi? Which Lin Gongzi? Could it be that he was Lin Wudi? No way, right? He was actually still alive? Didn't they say that 100 years ago, when he was confirming his Tao, he was struck by heavenly punishment and his life and death was unknown? He actually didn't die. That's great. Lin Gongzi, please save us. They knew that Lin Xian was a top genius of the hidden Emperor planet. His strength was extremely powerful. Now that he was alive, he should have already become a great emperor. How terrifying was such a person's strength? They hurriedly shouted. The 10,000 Ghost Army was also stunned. The Ghost Clansmen were stunned. Lin Wudi, was that the legendary person? To be honest, they had never seen him before, but they had heard of him. Was he the person in front of them? If they caught him, it would be a great merit. That's right, if they caught him, they would be able to condense their bodies, and they would no longer be ghosts. In an instant, hundreds of Ghost Clansmen rushed over. Die. The person who descended was Lin Xian. At this moment, he was extremely angry. Even the savage ancestor was captured, and the others were all seriously injured. The situation was very bad. And the enemy was these Ghost Clansmen? Unforgivable. He used the Rinnegan. Immediately, the 6 paths of reincarnation enveloped hundreds of Ghost Clan experts. In the next moment, their souls were swallowed. No, I don't want to enter the cycle of reincarnation. These people roared crazily. However, in an instant, they were turned into ashes. Dead. They were all dead. With a single glance, hundreds of experts had fallen. What kind of power was this? The remaining Ghost Clansmen were so scared that they knelt on the ground, their bodies trembling. Spare us, we were just following orders. Yes, everything was young Master Gui's orders. We didn't dare to resist at all. If you didn't dare to resist, you dared to attack the hidden Emperor Star? If you didn't dare to resist, you tortured others? You are unforgivable. Lin Xian used the Rinnegan again, and a reincarnation sword light slashed out, directly destroying heaven and earth. Once the remaining Ghost Clansmen were enveloped by the sword chi, they were all turned into ashes. In the end, only one person was still alive. This person was Gue Ling. Should he spare him? But in the next moment, Lin Xian directly grabbed his soul with one hand and grabbed him. Soul search. He wanted to know what was going on with this 10,000 Ghost Army. Soon, he waved his hand and directly tore Gue Ling into pieces. Young Master Gue, 100 ghosts were out. The Ghost Clan. He would not let a single one go. Chapter 6182. Lin Xian did not expect that so many things had happened in the past 6 months. The tragedy of the war had exceeded his imagination. Fortunately, he had returned. He could attack the enemy now. He harumphed coldly and slashed the black python in half with a wave of his hand. The python let out a miserable cry, but it could not resist. He waved his hand and endless sword chi flew around. He freed all the people who were chained up. Clanking sounds could be heard as all the chains were broken. The spirit needles on the top of the experts' heads were also knocked away. Were they saved? The experts cheered excitedly. They had given up all hope and accepted their fate. They knew that they were going to die. However, They did not expect Lin Xian to come and save them. Thank you, Lin Gongzi. No, thank you, great Emperor Lin. These people thanked him. The savage wilderness ancestor came to Lin Xian's side and said, Lin Gongzi, hurry up and save those people. Many people from the Divine Union have been captured. They are in danger. I know. Lin Xian had received the other party's soul and found out some things. Many expert souls were locked in the soul-suppressing pagoda. Now, Lin Xian was going to go. Please take us with you. We also want revenge. The experts said. The savage wilderness ancestor said, we also want to help. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and formed a dragon shadow. It circled around these people and left quickly. They went to the soul-suppressing pagoda. At the same time, there were many figures in the abyss of the hidden Emperor Star. Among them, there were a few figures gathered together and frowned. Among them were the Crimson Dragon, Gu Santong, the Yi family head, and others. It turned out that these people were from the great Emperor clans and the Divine Union. However, they had already left their original place. The Yi family head sighed and said, we can't go on like this. The Crimson Dragon said, it seems that we might have to leave the hidden Emperor Star and go to the deity land. Gu Santong said, that's the only thing we can do. The Gu clan is responsible for opening the space tunnel. We'll leave this place for now. In the future, when we are strong enough, we will kill our way back. After discussing for a while, they began to prepare for action. They didn't know that Lin Xian had already returned. At the same time, Lin Xian was heading towards the Soul Pagoda. The location of the Soul Pagoda was actually where the Divine Union used to be. It had to be said that this army of ghosts was too arrogant. He wanted to suppress the Divine Union so much that they would never be able to raise their heads again. Lin Xian's face turned even colder when he heard this. In next to no time, he arrived at Saint Source Ancient City. At this moment, there was no one left in the Sacred Origin Ancient City. Instead, there was a cold and gloomy aura. He could sense that some of the remnant souls had shattered. At the same time, there was also a black pagoda standing between the heavens and the earth. This black pagoda was too terrifying. Countless miserable cries could be heard from within. Savage Wilderness Patriarch said, this is the soul-suppressing pagoda, and it's one of them. Don't worry, I'll save them now. With that, Lin Xian slammed his palm forward. The golden palm carried an unparalleled aura as it shot towards the 9 heavens. With a loud boom, the heavens and the earth shattered, and the soul-suppressing pagoda shook violently. Countless cracks appeared on the surface of the pagoda. Then, with a loud crack, it shattered into pieces. How powerful! The Savage Wilderness Patriarch and the others were astonished. One had to know that the Crimson Dragon and the others had tried to sneak an attack on the soul-suppressing pagoda before, but to no avail. The Crimson Dragon was already an Emperor Lord, which meant that an Emperor Lord couldn't break the soul-suppressing pagoda. However, Lin Xian had shattered the pagoda with a single palm strike. How terrifying was Lin Xian's strength? Was it above an Emperor Lord? The soul-suppressing pagoda shook violently before it broke open and the millions of souls inside rushed out. Ha ha ha! They were saved. Run! Although they didn't understand what was going on, they didn't know what was going on. However, this was their only chance to escape. At the same time, a group of people in black robes rushed out. They roared, "Who are you? How dare you attack us? Do you want to die?" At the same time, someone said, "Take out the soul anchoring pearl and freeze the area. No one is allowed to escape." For black pearls appeared and froze the area. In an instant, the entire space was completely locked down. The souls that had escaped were once again blasted back. One by one, they let out miserable cries. No, why? These souls were in despair. This was the best chance to escape. However, they were too weak to escape. At the same time, the Ghost Clan members also began to search. Who is it? However, they didn't find it. They only saw a huge golden palm in the sky and slapped down. This golden palm carried the power of 9 suns. It was extremely vast. After it slapped down, a large number of souls were turned into ashes. Boom, boom, boom. It was an Emperor Lord. Damn it. The Ghost Clan members screamed crazily. They were no match for it. Do you think we don't have emperors? Please help us, emperors. The other ghost tribe experts roared angrily. In the next moment, a figure walked out. This person was extremely ferocious. He was a great emperor. His name was Ghost Wolf Great Emperor. He was the soul of a demon wolf. He devoured the souls of countless powerhouses and condensed them. At this moment, as soon as he came out, he roared to the sky. His claws covered the sky and the earth as he attacked the golden palm. Wherever it passed, everything was turned into ashes. The battle between emperors and the extreme power swept across. The surrounding souls were in despair. They would definitely die if they encountered such power. Were they going to be turned into ashes? However, the intense battle that they imagined did not happen. After the golden palm was blocked, Chu Feng's expression changed drastically. Then, a sword light slashed down from the sky. Like a flying immortal, the sword split Ghost Wolf Great Emperor into two halves. Ghost Wolf Great Emperor let out a crazy roar. Who are you? He was extremely frightened. The other party's power terrified him. This was an unfathomable power. I am Lin Wudi. A cold voice came from the sky. Then, another sword slashed down. Immortal sword. Lin Wudi. Impossible. The person who was hit by the heavenly punishment was already dead. Ghost Wolf Great Emperor roared crazily. In the next moment, he was enveloped by the power of an immortal. With a boom, his soul was destroyed. His emperor blood dyed the sky red, and all the battle had ended. Lin Xian descended from the sky. He stepped on all directions and looked down on the world. At this moment, he seemed to have become the only one in the world. Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw this scene. The people from the ghost race were scared silly. One of their great emperors was killed in an instant. This was simply beyond their understanding. In their opinion, great emperors were high and mighty. They would not die. Who could kill a great emperor? But now, someone did it. Moreover, it was done easily. As for the other souls, they were even more excited. Lin Wudi. Is it Lin Wudi of our hidden emperor star? Oh God, he's not dead. This is great. Some souls were so excited that they cried. Among these souls, there were Shangguan Shaoxian, Nalan Liang, and the others. It's Junior Martial Uncle who's back. Bustling is back. We have hope. Chapter 6183. Lin Xian waved his hand, condensed the power of heaven and earth, and flew forward. Immediately, the power enveloped Shangguan Shaoxian, Nalan Liang, and the other injured people. Soon, the souls of these people recovered rapidly. They were overjoyed. What a powerful method. Where are your bodies? Lin Xian asked with a frown. These people were only in the state of souls. Shangguan Shaoxian flew over and said, Junior Uncle, our bodies have been taken away by them. Lin Xian was stunned. In the next moment, he turned his head, caught a few people from the ghost clan, and began to search their souls. After learning the situation, he snorted coldly. This young Master Gue is really ambitious. With a wave of his hand, countless sword chi shot out in all directions, and all the ghost clan troops were turned into ashes. There are still 3 soul pagoda left. Let's go. We'll take care of them all together. Then, we'll save your bodies. Lin Xian rose into the air. With a wave of his sleeve, he enveloped the world and took all these people away. He went to the 2nd soul pagoda. At the same time, some people on the hidden emperor planet were also suspicious. For example, the Crimson Dragon, who was hiding in the canyon, exclaimed, Just now, I seem to have felt a powerful force flash by. Was another martial monarch realm cultivator here? But I didn't feel it. Could it be that there are more strong masters coming from the other side? Damn it. Don't tell me they want to kill us all at once? Gu Santong said. We've quickly built a space tunnel. 3 days. 3 days later, we can leave here. The Crimson Dragon nodded. Okay. No more enemies will come in these 3 days. They still didn't know that Lin Xian had returned. At this moment, Lin Xian went to the 2nd soul pagoda. He was very powerful. With a slash of his sword, the soul pagoda shattered, and countless souls flew out. Those from the ghost clan naturally wouldn't give up and attacked fiercely. Each soul pagoda was guarded by a great emperor. However, when Lin Xian saw it, he frowned. It was only the combat power of a great emperor, but it was not a great emperor. It was like a power formed by the fusion of countless souls. Even a true great emperor would not be able to match up to such means. However, it would be too easy to deal with other quasi-emperors. Furthermore, the soul pagoda itself was a treasure pagoda. Even if they were to encounter a true great emperor, these spirits should be able to hold their own. Bian was really good at scheming. This should be the work of a ghost immortal, right? He had yet to meet any ghost immortals. However, he dared to guarantee that this army of ghosts, including young Master Gue, would be annihilated. The second soul pagoda was guarded by a black elephant. The elephant was also formed from millions of souls. Its trunk was long, and it swung out to envelop Lin Xian. Go to hell. He let out an earth-shattering sound. However, Lin Xian shattered his body with a single punch. Then, the third soul pagoda. The fourth soul pagoda. When the fourth soul-suppressing pagoda appeared, the ghosts wanted to escape, but they turned into smoke and disappeared. Lin Xian sneered. Heaven and earth in the sleeve. A sword shook the sky. With a wave of his sleeve, countless sword chi flew out and killed everyone easily. Even in death, these ghost race people couldn't believe that the hidden Emperor Star had such a terrifying existence. As for the spirits, they were stunned. One had to know that they had launched a terrifying counterattack previously. The great emperors had attacked together with their supreme weapons, but they were no match for the ghosts. However, Lin Xian had come and killed the great emperors with just a few moves. Could it be that Lin Xian was already a super big character? Looking at these spirits, Lin Xian said, I'll use a sword chi to escort you back first. Next, I'll look for your bodies. Junior Martial Uncle, let us go together. We can also contribute our strength. Shangguan Shaoxian and the others said. Lin Xian shook his head, no need. I don't care about these people at all. Go back first and tell the people of the Divine Union that I'm back. Let them be at ease and don't let them take any more risks. Lin Xian was very worried that the Crimson Dragon and the others would take risks. Okay, I understand. Shangguan Shaoxian and the others nodded. In the next moment, Lin Xian shot out a sword light that turned into a giant dragon. It took Shangguan Shaoxian and countless spirits and flew into the distance. Lin Xian's figure flashed, and he continued on his journey. According to the information he had obtained from the Soul Search, these ghosts had captured the experts of the hidden Emperor Star and placed their souls in the soul-suppressing pagoda. As for the corpses, they were placed in coffins one by one. These coffins were all transported away. However, they did not leave the hidden Emperor Star. Instead, they seemed to have gone to Mount Eternal. This was a forbidden land of death. Moreover, it was the place where the immortal supremacy had been. Of course, the immortal supremacy had already been killed. However, the immortal supremacy's aura was still extremely terrifying. People below the great emperor level could not enter at all. Why did the ghost race send these bodies to Mount Eternal? Lin Xian felt that it might be a huge conspiracy. Thinking of this, his figure flashed and he headed to Mount Eternal. At the same time, there were many figures standing on Mount Eternal. These were also black-robed men. Among them, there was a black-robed man riding a bronze horse and holding a long spear in his hand. He was extraordinarily mighty. This time, he actually had a body. The black-robed man laughed loudly. Not bad, not bad. The body condensed by Mount Eternal is indeed good. I feel that there seems to be an immortal and indestructible power. Another old man also laughed. Don't worry. These bodies will enter Mount Eternal and be tainted with the power of immortality. Then, we will transform them into bodies suitable for us. When the time comes, I, your souls, can use them as a vessel and merge with them. Our strength will become even more powerful. Moreover, we will continue to devour these people's souls. When the time comes, the entire hidden Emperor Star will belong to our ghost race. I heard that there are many great Emperor clans and sects in the hidden Emperor Star. When the time comes, we will attack and seize their treasures. Some great Emperor clans have left behind a lot of things. If we get them, Young Master Gue will definitely reward us. These people were all experts of the ghost race. The man riding the bronze horse was called Gue Ma. The other old man was called Gue Mu. The rest were also experts. They were very strong, surpassing quasi-emperors. They were not real great emperors. However, they had the strength of a great emperor. Among them, Gue Ma was the real great emperor. So that's how it is. This is your goal? You want an indestructible body. However, you guys are really naive. Since I'm here, all of your schemes will be destroyed. Suddenly, a cold voice came from the sky. It shocked the people in Mount Eternal. The people of the ghost race all looked up at the sky. A few peerless experts snorted coldly, "Who is it? Get out here." Guemu waved his hand. In an instant, his palm seemed to have transformed into a black forest. It covered the entire sky. No matter who it is, you will die without a doubt. Extract his soul and make him suffer a fate worse than death. A few cold voices sounded. However, at this moment, a flame lit up in the sky. Then, the black forest instantly turned into ashes. Not only that, this flame turned into a sun and instantly enveloped Guemu. With a boom, Guemu turned into ashes. Chapter 6184. The death of Guemu frightened the people in Mount Eternal. So powerful. A powerful enemy was attacking. Guema shouted angrily, "Let's fight the enemy together." Immediately, many experts rushed out of Mount Eternal. They were all facing a great enemy. Boom. In the sky, a large golden hand fell. "You're courting death." The top powers of the ghost tribe below roared and attacked one after another. The bronze spear in Guema's hand pierced out, shattering heaven and earth. The two collided, and the golden flame hammer fell, enveloping the ghost experts. Immediately, the ghost experts screamed and turned into ashes. In an instant, a large number of ghost experts died, and the bronze spear was also sent flying. Guema took a few steps back, his blood boiling. The others were stunned, and those who were still alive trembled in fear. What kind of strength was this? Was a super great emperor coming? Who are you? We are the ghost experts under young Master Gue, and we belong to the army of ghosts. Behind us stands the ghost immortal, not someone you can offend. Leave quickly and I'll spare your life. Otherwise, your heart and soul will be destroyed. No matter what kind of expert it was, when they heard this, they would be scared silly. After all, behind them stood the earth immortal, the Permitha. Was the ghost immortal so great? Was the Permitha so great? One day, I will personally destroy it. A cold voice came from the sky. Then, a figure that looked like a sun war god appeared. Everyone looked up. What a terrifying aura. The members of the ghost clan were trembling. They felt as though they were melting. This power of the sun was naturally restrained by them. Who are you? Guema gritted his teeth and said. He seemed to be threatened and didn't dare to resist. Who am I? Lin Xian smiled. Listen carefully. It's me, Lin Wudi. Now that you know, you can kneel down and wait for death. Lin Wudi? The ghost experts were stunned. What a familiar name. They thought for a moment. Suddenly, Emperor Guema's expression changed. You're the Lin Wudi from the previous universe. Impossible? You were hit by the heavenly punishment sword. You're already dead. How can you still be alive? His face was full of shock. A person who had died in the legends had actually appeared. Furthermore, it was right in front of them. Struck by the heavenly punishment? Dead? Lin Xian sneered. Is this how Higan deceived you? You guys are really stupid. How can a mere Skylaw kill me? Not only am I here, but I will also send you to hell. After saying that, he slammed his palm forward. Let's go and tell young Master Ghost that Lin Wudi is still alive. No, tell Lord Ghost Immortal. Tell all the experts of the Nirvana realm that Lin Wudi is not dead. Now that he had returned, they had to send experts to kill him. Guema roared angrily. Those who were still alive quickly ran in all directions. They wanted to escape. Lin Xian sneered. You think you can leave? With a wave of his hand, a beam of sword energy shot into the sky. Then, He let out a dragon's roar and transformed into tens of thousands of dragon shadows, directly enveloping Mount Eternal. At this moment, everyone looked up into the distance. What a terrifying aura. Did another dragon tribe expert descend again? Is the dragon emperor back? They didn't know. However, those ghost tribe experts who wanted to escape were all blasted back. A few tried to escape by force, but in the end, they were torn to pieces by the terrifying dragon shadow. I'll fight you to the death. Guema roared and rushed over, the bronze spear in his hand extremely fast. However, he was caught by Lin Xian. Lin Xian landed a kick on his opponent's body, shattering him into pieces. Was the difference so big? The other experts of the ghost tribe were stunned when they saw this. Guema let out a blood-curdling scream as his body fell to the ground. However, in the next instant, her shattered body actually began to heal. He gritted his teeth and said, "I am an immortal existence. I am immortal and indestructible. Lin Wudi, no matter how strong you are, you can't kill me." After saying that, he rushed over again. He said, "I'll stop him. You guys break out." Guema wanted to fight against Lin Xian alone. Lin Xian smacked him to the ground with a single slap. Boom! Guema was slapped into a bloody mist again, and the bronze horse under him also turned into pieces. A terrified voice sounded, "How can you be so powerful? What kind of power is this? It's not immortal chi or divine fire. Could it be that you have successfully merged with the power of an immortal?" Lin Xian snorted, "That's right." In the distance, Guema's figure appeared again, and his face was extremely pale. The power of an immortal? No one had ever used the power to split heaven and earth. But now, it was used by the other party. Great emperors of the same level were no match for him at all. He had to pass this information to Higan. Guema didn't want to fight anymore. He wanted to escape. Lin Xian was surprised. "You're not dead yet?" Even if the other party was a great emperor, he couldn't have survived after being hit by the power of an immortal. At this moment, Lin Xian was determined to kill. He didn't hold back at all. However, after 2 moves, the other party was still alive. How strange. The power of immortality. Impossible. Even the immortal great emperor was dead. How could this guy still be alive? He used the Rinnegan and enveloped the entire space. In the next moment, the corners of his mouth raised. So that's how it is. You attached a trace of your soul to the energy of Mount Eternal. This is the reason why you can't die, right? However, after this soul is shattered, let's see if you can still live. After saying that, Lin Xian pointed his finger and charged into the depths of Mount Eternal. Guema's expression changed drastically. He didn't expect that the other party would be able to see through his trump cards so quickly. Guema's heart beat wildly. No, he roared like crazy. He got this method from young Master Gue. It was an extremely mysterious immortal art. After he came to Mount Eternal, he separated a part of his soul and merged it with the mountain range of Mount Eternal, with the help of the power of immortality. Sure enough, in this area of Mount Eternal, he was an immortal existence. Even if his body was killed and his soul destroyed, he could still be resurrected. This was also the reason why Lin Xian couldn't kill him in 2 moves. However, now he was in danger. He wouldn't let Lin Xian succeed. He resisted with all his might. However, how could he be Lin Xian's opponent? Lin Xian snorted coldly and suppressed the other party with 1 palm. Then, he slashed out with his sword and split Mount Eternal. A large crack appeared in Mount Eternal. In the next moment, in the depths, there was a pale face. That face was filled with the power of the soul. It was attached to the power of immortality of Mount Eternal. This was Guema's face. Destroy. Lin Xian shot out a ray of reincarnation light and directly hit the pale face. That pale face was twisted with malevolence as it let out a miserable cry. In the next moment, he turned into ashes. At the same time, Guema also screamed and turned to run. Now, he didn't have the ability to resurrect. Boom! Lin Xian's big hand was like the sky. It directly slapped down and suppressed him to the ground. "You can't kill me. If you kill me, the army of ghosts won't let you go. Young Master Gue will kill you." Lin Xian snorted coldly. Don't worry, I won't kill you now. I will torture you well. At the same time, he also asked about young Master Gui's situation. Chapter 6185. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Guima went crazy. One could imagine how miserable his fate would be. A hint of madness appeared in his eyes. Damn it, I'll fight it out with you. He wanted to destroy himself. However, with a single slap from Lin Xian, all of his power had been shattered. In front of me, you can only live if I want you to live. You can only die if I want you to die. Otherwise, you can't do anything. Lin Xian looked at him and said coldly. At this moment, Guima felt as if he had fallen into a 10,000-year-old ice cave. Infinite fear appeared in his eyes. Next, Lin Xian began to collect his soul. Soon, he learned that young Master Gui was the disciple of the Ghost Immortal. He was now in charge of the Hidden Emperor Star. Young Master Gui was a super great emperor and had received the true teachings of the Ghost Immortal. His strength was extremely terrifying. In the entire Hidden Emperor Star, he could be said to be invincible. However, the current young Master Gui seemed to be planning to seize the ancient tomb of a great emperor. Therefore, he didn't have the energy to attack the Hidden Emperor Star for the time being. Instead, he sent his subordinates. In addition to young Master Gui, Lin Xian also learned some things. What surprised him was that the top combat strength of the Ghost Clan was unknown. This surprised him. Logically speaking, there should be a number of great emperors and quasi-emperors who came to the Hidden Emperor Star this time. However, in Guima's soul memory, he wasn't sure. Lin Xian continued probing the other party's soul and quickly understood. It turned out that young Master Gui had a method. To be precise, the Ghost Immortal had a method and taught it to young Master Gui. The army of ghosts could devour the souls of others to strengthen themselves. They could even devour each other's souls. Once they devoured too many souls, their strength would be too strong, and they could create characters comparable to great emperors. Of course, they wouldn't be real great emperors. Their combat strength should be infinitely close. He actually had such a method. As expected of the Ghost Immortal, he was indeed strong and mysterious. Lin Xian's face was cold. He had to get rid of these ghosts. Otherwise, all the martial artists on the Hidden Emperor Star would be in danger. While Lin Xian was interrogating Guima, on the other side, Shangguan Shaoxian and the others also flew back. They entered the Grand Canyon. At the same time, the people in the canyon were on high alert. They saw a huge dragon soaring through the air. That huge dragon was extremely terrifying. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws. Its momentum was astonishing. Is Long Xiaotian here again? Everyone was shocked. The Crimson Dragon roared. He's gone too far. I'll fight him to the death. They soared into the air, ready to risk their lives. However, they were soon stunned. This was because they discovered that there were people on the dragon's body, and there were many of them. They were some souls that were drifting about. At the same time, a shout came from the soul. Martial Uncle Shenlong. We're back. She was Shangguan Shaoxian. The Crimson Dragon was stunned. In the next moment, he saw a tall figure. It was the savage ancestor. There were also people from other clans and sections. Weren't these people captured and thrown into the Soul Pagoda? The Crimson Dragon knew that. He had led his men to attack the Soul Pagoda twice, but both times he had failed. He was on the verge of despair. Who would have thought that these people would actually come out now? What was going on? They dashed over. The dragon in the sky swung its tail and landed on the ground. Shangguan Shaoxian and the others floated over and said excitedly, Young Martial Uncle is back. Young Martial Uncle saved us. Young Martial Uncle? Everyone was stunned. The Crimson Dragon was ecstatic. Is Lin Xian back? Yes, it's Lin Xian. The savage ancestor also said. Nailin Liang cheered wildly. Boss Lin is back. Boss Lin is so powerful. He killed a great emperor with one slap. Lin Xian is really back. He's not dead. That's great. Only a few people knew that Lin Xian had gone to the Land of Destiny. The other clans and sects, including the Yi family and the Gu family, didn't know. They all thought that Lin Xian had been hit by the heavenly punishment and his fate was unknown. There was even a possibility that the chance of survival was very small. They had even despaired at one point. A prodigy of the generation had fallen in the starry sky. But they didn't expect that Lin Xian was still alive and had returned. Not only that, he was extremely powerful and could kill a great emperor with one slap. Why did it sound like a dream? That's great. The Crimson Dragon and the others were happy. Where's that kid? Shangguan Shaoxian said. He went to continue looking for our bodies. I think he'll be back soon. Good, that's great. We can finally take revenge. Let Lin Xian lead us to kill these ghosts. Hurry up and inform Gu Santong to stop building space tunnels. We don't have to leave. We'll fight them here until the end. Someone went to inform Gu Santong and the others. When Gu Santong and the others of the Gu family learned that Lin Xian was back, they were all stunned. The next moment, they were all ecstatic. Lin Xian is not dead. That's great. I knew it. Gu Santong clenched his fists in excitement. 100 years ago, when he learned that Lin Xian's life was unknown, he was sad for many days. One had to know that if it weren't for Lin Xian, he wouldn't have achieved so much. Now that Lin Xian had returned alive, he was naturally overjoyed. Everyone in the Grand Canyon was excited. Not only that, the Crimson Dragon said, "Spread the news. I want the entire Hidden Emperor Star to know. Lin Xian is back. We have hope." Soon, these people began to move. The Gu family used their space techniques to continuously transmit the news. Not long after, the people of the Hidden Emperor's Star heard a voice. Lin Wudi is back. Lin Wudi is alive. Lin Wudi has become a great emperor and has returned. Our Hidden Emperor's Star has hope. Don't be afraid of the ghosts. After hearing this, the people of the Hidden Emperor's Star were also stunned. Lin Wudi? 100 years ago, the peerless genius who swept through the starry sky. He's still alive and has returned? Ha 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 ha, that's great. I knew he wouldn't die. Lin Wudi is back. We have hope. Disciples and grand disciples, pick up the swords in your hands and kill with me. Block this attack. When Lin Wudi arrives, these ghosts will be dead for sure. That's right. Those families and sects that were originally in despair were already prepared to give up resistance and even self-destruct. However, now that they heard that Lin Xian had returned, they all had hope. They frantically resisted. One by one, shields and defensive arrays appeared between heaven and earth. Some people even began to attack with all their might. Some elders roared to the sky, "It doesn't matter if we die, but our descendants must live." That's right. In the sky, dozens of elders soared into the sky. Their bodies grew larger, and the power in their bodies began to expand. "Old ghost, are you afraid of death?" a red-clothed elder asked. On the other side, a white-haired elder looked up to the sky and laughed. "I've lived for 4,000 years. I've lived enough. However, before I die, I have to take these ghosts with me to the Yellow Springs." On the other side, a tall elder held a giant axe in his hand. His loud voice spread in all directions. "Disciples and grand disciples, listen up. We will open a path for you. You must live and wait for Lin Wudi's arrival. Kill." After saying that, the dozens of elders charged forward. Courting death, the ghost experts on the other side sneered, unmoved. They unleashed their souls, which blotted out the sky and covered the earth as they pressed down. These people of the Hidden Emperor's Star were no match for them at all. But this time, they were wrong. The dozens of elders rushed over. They had no intention of coming back alive. In an instant, they self-destructed. The overwhelming power swept in all directions. The sky was torn apart. Damn it! Retreat. The faces of those from the Ghost Clan changed. These guys are crazy. Chapter 6186. Dozens of elder powerhouses were unafraid of death. They used the power of destruction to pave the way for their descendants. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Ghosts wailed and wolves howled. The people of the Ghost Clan were incomparably miserable. Quite a number of people were instantly torn to pieces by the destructive power. Even some of the peerless powerhouses of the Ghost Clan were seriously injured at this moment. Their bodies were split open, and their souls were shattered. Elders, patriarchs, great-grandfathers, the young people at the back let out crazy roars. They were all crying. Their patriarchs had died for them. Don't cry. Cultivators can bleed, but they can't cry. A middle-aged man shouted coldly. He held a short sword and a short saber in his hand. His body was stained with blood, and his eyes were red. The patriarchs used their lives to create an opportunity for us. We must survive. Young ones, back off. Old ones, charge. Kill a bloody path for our children and grandchildren. Some other old men also rose into the air. As for the young people, they were escorted back. The surrounding array formation continued to spread. The people of the Ghost Clan on the opposite side had also gone crazy. Previously, when they arrived, they relied on the powerful Ghost Army to sweep in all directions. Because their numbers were too strong, and they could grow stronger at any time. They could devour the souls of others. Therefore, these people of the Hidden Emperor Star were no match for them at all. Moreover, there were great Emperor-level powerhouses on their side. Under their joint efforts, they defeated the great Emperor clans. Now, the great Emperor clans were all fleeing for their lives. Seeing this situation, how could the other clans and sects dare to resist? Therefore, they had never suffered a loss along the way. But now, they had suffered a great loss. That destructive power just now had caused them to suffer heavy losses. Hundreds of great sages had died. Dozens of quasi-emperors had died. There were also some peerless powerhouses who were seriously injured. Crazy. Kill them for me. Devour their souls and make them suffer a fate worse than death. These people of the Ghost Clan also charged over. At the same time, the second group of powerhouses rushed over and continued to destroy themselves. With a boom, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Loud laughter echoed between heaven and earth. This time, even more Ghost Clan members died. More than half of them had perished. The others gasped. Were these guys crazy? Not only these ancient families, but also the Holy Lands and sections. After learning that Lin Wudi had returned, they launched a crazy counterattack. Again and again, he counterattacked regardless of the cost. The members of the Ghost Clan couldn't believe it. Lin Wudi. Just his name alone was enough to drive these people crazy. What kind of magic did this name have? What Lin Wudi? No one in this world is invincible. A name can't save you. Heavenly Fire Holy Land. An Emperor Realm expert from the Ghost race sneered. Behind him were 29 Crown Kings and other quasi-emperors. This was the power that they had gathered after devouring souls. The surroundings of this holy land were filled with heavenly fire. It was extremely terrifying. There was a certain degree of restraint towards them. But now, he could no longer restrain them. The souls of these people covered the sky and the earth, extinguishing the heavenly fire. The people from the Skyfire Holy Land despaired. However, at this moment, a sun fell from the sky and killed one of the great emperors. The 29 Crown Kings were also reduced to ashes by the flames of the sun. This scene caused everyone to be stunned. The members of the Ghost race were horrified. As for the people from the Skyfire Holy Land, they looked up at the sky. In the next moment, they saw a golden godlike figure descend. I'm back. I won't let a single member of the Ghost race off. A cold voice sounded. In the next moment, a sword chi slashed over. Immediately, a large number of Ghost race experts died, reduced to ashes by this sword. After the sword strike, a huge crack appeared in the sky. The Ghost Clan had already disappeared. The people from the Skyfire Holy Land were stunned. What a powerful sword chi! Who was this voice? It was Lin Wudi. He had returned. He had really returned. This was great. Greetings, Lin Gongzi. Greetings, Great Emperor Lin. Everyone, don't worry. I'm back. Everything is safe. Lin Xin's voice sounded. At the same time, an extremely terrifying power of heaven and earth enveloped the Skyfire Holy Land. This caused the vitality of the Skyfire Holy Land to increase by 100 times. Recover well. Next, I'll lead you to kill the enemy. Yes. The people from the Skyfire Holy Land were excited. They quickly used the power of heaven and earth to recover their bodies. Following that, Lin Xian visited one holy ground after another, as well as ancient aristocratic families. Wherever he passed, he killed everything with a single sword strike. At this moment, everyone knew that Lin Wuti had really returned. Previously, they had only heard rumors and did not believe it. Now that they saw Lin Xian, they were wild with joy. After seeing Lin Xian's strength, they knew that the hidden Emperor Star could be saved. Along the way, he killed the ghost race until they were in a miserable state. The members of the ghost race also broke down. At the beginning, they were arrogant and wanted to fight with Lin Xian. Lin Xian turned them into ashes with a few sword strikes. In the end, these ghost race people were also terrified. Let's go back quickly and tell young Master Gue that Lin Wuti has returned. Let young Master Gue kill him. No matter how strong he was no match for young Master Gue. The ghost clansmen began to retreat. They retreated. The ghost race retreated. That's great. We're safe. Those families, sects, and martialists all cheered. Lin Xian had returned and defeated the entire ghost race army by himself. Lin Xian was now returning to the Great Canyon. He could feel the presence of the Divine Union, Yi family, and others. At this moment, many ghost race powerhouses had gathered around the Great Canyon. Not only that, these ghost race people all had physical bodies. Their strength was even more terrifying. Yi family, hand over your heavenly emperor scripture and we'll spare your lives. Gu family, hand over the ancient void mirror and we'll give you a chance to live. Divine Union, kneel down and submit to us. Become slaves of Paramitha. Clamoring voices rang out one after another. The people who came this time were extremely terrifying. A true great emperor and 5 other great emperor powerhouses. 6 unparalleled powerhouses stood there, causing the entire canyon to crumble. The Crimson Dragon roared. Several supreme weapons rose into the air beside them to defend themselves. However, the great emperors on the other side sneered. They were just extreme weapons. If they weren't true great emperors, they wouldn't be able to unleash their full power. One of the ladies sneered, I might become a true great emperor after devouring your souls. Let's do it. A young man took the lead. He held a white bone sword in his hand and pointed it forward. Suddenly, the ghost race army around them started to move. The Crimson Dragon and the others roared. A great battle was about to begin. At this moment, a cold snort was heard from afar. The ghost race deserved to die. Then, a palm struck out. This palm came from tens of thousands of miles away. Wherever it passed, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. It turned into a world that came crashing down from the sky. Everyone looked up at the sky. What was this? The Divine Union and the great emperor families were stunned. The faces of the ghost tribe's experts also changed. The young man with the white bone sword roared, Attack! The 6 great emperors roared at the sky. 6 rays of light shot out from their bodies and pierced through the sky, trying to shatter the heavenly palm. Boom, 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 boom. The heavenly palm fell mercilessly, shattering the attacks of the 6 unparalleled powerhouses. Then, they were enveloped by the palm. Chapter 6187. A miserable shriek came from the hand of heaven. The ghost woman from before screamed in terror. What kind of power is this? I can't resist it. The other man roared. This is the power of a great emperor. Which great emperor is he? Is he a powerhouse from the divine realm? The young man with the white bone sword roared. He was a real great emperor. At this moment, he was also terrified. This was not the power of immortal chi, nor the power of divine fire, but a power that he had never seen before. What is this? Who are you? Who are you? He looked up at the sky and asked himself. In the sky, a cold voice came. I will fulfill your dying request. I am Lin Wuti. As soon as the voice fell, the giant hand exploded again. Immediately, the 6 peerless powerhouses inside screamed miserably. They turned into a bloody mist. Several great emperors had died. The real great emperor roared to the sky. I am a great emperor. I have experienced a real lightning tribulation. I will not die. He wanted to resist, But how could he resist? As soon as the giant hand exploded, the power of immortals emerged, and this great emperor died on the spot. The giant hand rose again and floated in the sky. On the palm, countless drops of great emperor blood danced, shattering heaven and earth. At this moment, everyone was stunned. 6 great emperors were slapped to death with a single palm strike. What a shocking scene this was. The people from the Ghost clan were so scared that they all knelt on the ground with a plop, their bodies trembling. Even the people on the hidden Emperor planet side were silent. They had never seen this kind of power. This was Lin Xian's power. The Crimson Dragon was also shocked. Oh my God, he has definitely surpassed an ordinary great emperor. Did he directly become a super great emperor? Was that the power of immortals? How could he be so powerful? The toad was also drooling. I am so envious. In the sky, a figure descended from the sky and arrived near the canyon. Everyone looked over. Lin Xian, you are back. The toad jumped over, and the Crimson Dragon and the others also flew over. Everyone rushed over. It was Lin Xian. It was really him. Lin Xian said, "You guys have suffered." Hearing this, everyone's eyes turned red. Someone said, "My master's soul was devoured. My apprentice has been taken away. Damn it. Lin Gongzi, this isn't your fault. This is someone from the ghost race. He's too arrogant." That's right. The people of the Permethar realm are too hateful. I heard that it's not only the hidden Emperor star. All the stars in the universe were attacked by them. Damn it, I'm not strong enough. Otherwise, I would have killed my way up to the 9 heavens and killed all of them. Whenever Higan was mentioned, she would clench her teeth. Previously, they had thought that it was only a battle of Dao corroboration. However, who would have thought that the other party's ambition was too great? He wanted the 10,000 worlds to submit to him. In fact, even great emperors had to kneel and become slaves. Even immortals had to lower their heads. Who could tolerate such ambition? Don't worry, one day, we will kill our way to the other side and destroy it completely. Now, let's resolve the crisis of the hidden Emperor star. After saying that, Lin Xian turned around. He stared at the front. In front of him, there were hundreds of thousands of ghost race experts. These people were all soul bodies. At this moment, they were facing a great enemy. Lin Wudi, don't be arrogant. Behind us is young Master Gue. That's right, young Master Gue is the disciple of a ghost immortal, an earth immortal. Even if you become a great emperor, can you be a match for an earth immortal? Humph. Lin Xian snorted coldly and opened his Rinnegan. Immediately, the 6 paths world bloomed and enveloped the hundreds of thousands of ghost race army. The ghost race army couldn't bear it at all. With a plop, they knelt on the ground. Lin Xian shot down the light of reincarnation. Immediately, the souls of the ghost race army were penetrated. They let out a sound that was worse than death. This was the pain of the soul. You like to devour other people's souls, right? Then you can feel the feeling of your soul being devoured. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palm. Illusion. Eternal soul devouring. He used his Rinnegan to envelop the hundreds of thousands of soldiers and created an illusion world. Here, these people would live for 1,000,000 years. And within these 1,000,000 years, every day, their souls would be tortured, devoured, and then reborn. Then, they would continue to be tortured. The cycle would repeat until 1,000,000 years had passed. And in reality, perhaps it would only last for an incense stick's worth of time. After enveloping these people, Lin Xian no longer paid attention to them. The people of the hidden Emperor's star looked at each other in dismay. They only heard all kinds of miserable cries coming from the front. Then, one by one, the ghost race powerhouses fell. After an incense stick's worth of time, hundreds of thousands of soldiers all died in the most despair. Thank you, Lin Gongzi, for avenging my master. Disciple, you can rest in peace. Lin Gongzi has avenged you. Voices sounded one after another. At this moment, everyone clenched their fists. Lin Xian said, "This is not enough. I want to destroy all the people of the ghost race. I want to cut off young Master Gue's head and use his head to pay tribute to the dead." Yes, we are willing to follow Lin Gongzi and kill the ghost race. These people shouted loudly. Lin Xian said, "The first step is to return to our respective clans and sections. We are not fugitives. At the same time, I will assist the Gu family to build space tunnels between the various clans and sections. Once one party is in danger, the other parties can instantly provide support." Everyone was shocked when they heard this. What kind of method was this? They had thought of this idea before, but the Gu family couldn't do it at all, unless the Void Emperor was resurrected. But now, with the help of Lin Xian, they might really be able to do it. Next, these clans and sects began to return to their respective territories one after another. From today onwards, they would not be on the run. Lin Xian took action one after another to restore these clans and sections. He even condensed the endless power of heaven and earth to help these people quickly recover from their injuries. On the other side, the captured souls were all gathered together. Lin Xian waved his hand, and countless bodies appeared in the sky. "Return to your bodies. I will protect you." Hearing those words, millions of souls soared into the sky and rushed toward their own bodies. The next moment, one by one, the figures opened their eyes. "We are back. Our bodies are finally back." "Great. Thank you, Lin Gongzi." Everyone was grateful once again. Next, everyone began to repair the mountain gate and set up the array formation, preparing to fight to the death with the ghost race. On the other side, Bai Susu and the others from the Divine Union had also gathered together. They looked at Lin Xian. The Crimson Dragon and the others asked, "What happened? Where have you been for the past 100 years?" Lin Xian said, "I went to a magical place." He briefly recounted his experiences in the past 100 years. Everyone was stunned when they heard this. In the land of destiny, everyone had their own fate. Fate was made by heaven and could not be changed. Wouldn't that be very hopeless? The toad said, "What's there to be hopeless about? Haven't you heard that there are many emperors in the land of destiny? Let me become an emperor and then let me feel hopeless, okay?" Even now, he was still only a half-martial monarch. This caused the toad to feel extremely annoyed. "I don't think it's good. If I can't change my own fate, then cultivation is meaningless. However, if it's the fate of a peerless genius, then it's the best. I can become an emperor without any worries." Everyone was discussing spiritedly, with different opinions. Lin Xian only smiled at this. Those who had not experienced fate would not understand at all. These people only envied their own emperors. However, they did not know that in the land of destiny, even emperors and super-emperors envied people from all over the universe. This was because there were endless possibilities in the universe. Chapter 6188. Hidden Emperor Star, Extreme North. This was a world of ice and snow. The 10,000-year-old glaciers had never melted. Even powerful saints would freeze and tremble when they walked here. In the depths of the extreme north, the coldness here was even more terrifying. Strands of frost chi laws danced in the air. This seemed to be a forbidden land for life. Ordinary people couldn't come here at all. However, at this moment, there were two figures here. These two figures were dressed in black robes. Their bodies were shrouded in black fog. Only their eyes were cold and shining. The two looked at the glacier that was tens of thousands of meters high in front of them. One of the figure's black robes fluttered in the wind. He said, "It should be here." The other black-robed figure was even taller. He was more than 3 meters tall. He stood there as if he could suppress the heavens and earth. He said, "That's right. It's here. The thing we want is here." After speaking, he walked forward. However, an ice sword suddenly flew out from the ice mountain and directly cut off his path. The tall black-robed figure retreated. His face was gloomy. "There is indeed a powerful array, but this time, we are prepared." After speaking, he waved his hand. A black gourd appeared in his hand. A ghost face appeared on it. The gourd opened and tens of thousands of vengeful spirits rushed out. The black-robed figure beside him also took out a pitch-black gourd. The two were very similar. There were tens of thousands of vengeful spirits inside. These vengeful spirits turned into a black storm and fought against the ice sword. An earth-shaking sound came. The sound of ghosts wailing and wolves howling swept through the world. As for the glacier sword, it emitted an azure ray of light that slashed straight into the firmament. Boom, boom. Tens of thousands of cracks appeared where the two collided. A powerful storm swept through the surroundings. The glaciers in the extreme north shook and cracks appeared in many places. As for this aura, it spread throughout the entire Hidden Emperor Star from the extreme north. The clans and sects on the Hidden Emperor Star had just settled down. At this moment, they felt this power. Their expressions changed again. Everyone looked towards the north. What happened there? People like the Yi clan, Void clan, and Phoenix clan said, "That is the extreme north, where the 10,000-year-old glaciers are." Normally, no one would go there. There weren't even many demonic beasts there. But now, there was actually an enormous power erupting in the extreme north. That was a battle between great emperors. Who was it? The people in the Divine Union also sensed it. The Crimson Dragon rose into the air nervously. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. It was the aura of a ghost. He had fought with the Ghost Clan before, so he naturally knew that it was just another aura. The sword chi was icy cold. He didn't know. He had never seen it before. Let's go and take a look. Lin Xian left behind a few streaks of sword chi that covered the entire Divine Union and formed a Qingquan sword array. Even a great emperor wouldn't be able to open it in a short period of time. Now that he had nothing to worry about, he left. "We'll go with you." The Crimson Dragon and the Toad soared into the air and flew over. As for Bai Susu and the others, they remained in the Divine Union. Lin Xian and the others were extremely fast. They arrived in the blink of an eye. After tearing open the void, they turned into lightning dragons and charged towards the extreme north. At this moment, a shocking battle was happening in the extreme north. At the same time, a few black-robed people rushed over. They were like dark clouds. "Ghost Emperor, the situation isn't good." These black-robed people were from the Ghost Clan. Many of them were injured and covered in blood. They looked extremely miserable. After they arrived in the extreme north, they started shouting loudly. The two black-robed people in front were fighting with the glacier sword. When they heard this voice, they frowned. The 3-meter-tall man shouted coldly, "What's the matter?" As he spoke, he continued to use the black gourd to attack. The Ghost Clan people behind him knelt on the ground and said, "Ghost Emperor, please take revenge for us." Then, he told the Ghost Emperor what had happened. The Ghost Emperor snorted coldly, "Trash. The people on the buried Emperor's star are so weak. So many of you actually failed. Do you want to go to the Yellow Springs? I don't mind swallowing you." The Ghost Clan people kowtowed in fear. "Don't blame us." Originally, the people on the buried Emperor's star were in despair. It wouldn't be long before they were suppressed by us. But then, a young man called Lin Wudi came. His appearance ruined all the plans. Lin Wudi? After the Ghost Emperor heard this, his eyes lit up. "Are you sure he's called Lin Wudi?" "Yes, I'm sure. Those people all said so." "That was impossible." The other black-robed man, the Wind Ghost Emperor, frowned and said, "Lin Wudi was hit by the heavenly punishment 100 years ago. He should have died. How could he still be alive?" The Ghost Clan powerhouse said, "We don't know, but he's very strong. He easily killed our leader." Could it really be him? The two great emperors looked at each other, their hearts heavy. "Go back first. Don't attack again during this time. Continue to go to the universe and collect souls from other worlds. Condense them into a black gourd and give it to us. We'll break this 10,000-year-old glacier first. When the time comes, we'll deal with Lin Wudi." "That's right." The Wind Ghost Emperor also sneered. "I want to see how strong this legendary invincible young man is. Does he really have the ability to bear the title of invincible?" Obviously, the Wind Ghost Emperor was not convinced. At this moment, a cold voice came from the sky. "There's no need to wait. Now is the time." Who was it? The Ghost Clan members were shocked and looked up at the sky. The sky exploded, and 3 figures appeared. One of them was a young man wearing a black robe. His black hair danced in the wind, and his face was incomparably handsome. Beside him was a divine dragon with towering horns on its head. On the other side was a toad. Its appearance was extremely ugly and terrifying. The three of them stood in the void like gods, shattering the sky. You are? The Ghost Emperor frowned. The experts of the Ghost Clan who were kneeling below were all terrified. They pointed at the sky and shouted, "Ghost Emperor, he's Lin Wuti. Please avenge us." As they spoke, they quickly retreated. They had all seen Lin Wuti attack before, and he was extremely powerful. With a light sword, tens of millions of ghosts were turned into ashes. "You're Lin Wuti." The Ghost Emperor and the Wind Ghost Emperor were also stunned. So young. It was different from what they had imagined. While the two of them were sizing up Lin Xian was also looking at the two of them. He found that the two people below were real great emperors, and they had real immortal qi. However, Lin Xian didn't take them seriously. He said in a deep voice, "You two, surrender. You're no match for me. Kneel down obediently and tell me everything. I'll give you a quick death." When the Ghost Clan members heard this, they gasped. Was this guy looking down on their Ghost Emperor? Someone revealed a sinister smile. The two in front of him were the Ghost Emperor and the Ghost Emperor. Apart from young Master Ghost, they were the strongest people on this planet. This young man had offended two at the same time. He would definitely suffer a fate worse than death. Chapter 6189. What an arrogant young man. I'm curious, how did you survive until now? The Ghost Emperor snorted. The Wind Ghost Emperor was furious. He said, "Let me do it." The Ghost Emperor nodded, took the black gourd from his hand, and continued to resist the ice sword. He said, "Then finish him quickly. It's best if you can finish him within 10 moves. We still have important things to do." The Wind Ghost Emperor smiled. 10 moves? There's no need for that. I'll suppress him in 5 moves. After speaking, he floated over and struck out with his palm. A black storm condensed around him. These storms could instantly tear apart the soul of a powerhouse. This palm directly hit Lin Xian's soul. In his opinion, under this move, the other party's soul would be injured. Next, he would be at his mercy. Humph! Kill him in 10 moves and suppress him in 5 moves? Lin Xian looked at the two of them and laughed coldly. They were really confident. They were quite confident, but he didn't know if they could still be so confident later. Looking at the black palm flying over, he opened his Rinnegan and looked over. His gaze fell directly on the other party's palm. Boom! An earth-shattering sound came, and the black palm was penetrated. With a muffled groan, the Wind Ghost King quickly retreated, avoiding this gaze. His face turned ugly. What a terrifying eye. That was a collision of soul power just now. His palm could tear apart the soul of a powerhouse. However, the other party's eye was even more terrifying. It even pierced through his palm. What kind of supernatural power is this? The Wind Ghost Emperor gritted his teeth and asked. Lin Xian laughed. You're really useless. What kind of supernatural power did you use on me? You don't even know. You're courting death. No one dares to look down on me. You will pay the price. The Wind Ghost King's face was gloomy. That move just now was just a casual one. Next, he was going to get serious. Immortal Qi emerged from his body, and his power erupted. With a roar, the 9 heavens and 10 lands were shattered. The people of the Ghost Clan had already escaped far away. They came to the edge of the extreme north to watch the battle. Do you think our Ghost Emperor can win this battle? A young man asked. Nonsense. Another Ghost King said coldly, the Ghost Emperor's strength is enough to split heaven and earth. How can he fail? The Wind Ghost Emperor's aura was getting more and more terrifying. The Toad also frowned. How terrifying. How dare you scare me? Do you think I'm scared? I'll go bully your disciples and grand-disciples. Then, he said, Kid, you deal with these 2 guys. I'll deal with the Ghost Clan. After saying that, the Toad's figure flashed and rushed to the edge of the far north land. There were many Ghost Clan experts there. After the Toad came, it said, Come, come. Grandpa will teach you how to behave. He was courting death. The 7 Ghost Kings walked out. There were still a few experts in the distance who were extremely terrifying. These people blotted out the sky and covered the earth as they began to attack the toad. The toad held two extreme-grade weapons in its hands. As soon as it made its move, it beat everything in its path. The 7 Ghost Kings were beaten to tears. Too ruthless. Ghost Emperor, save us. Ghost Emperor, make a move and destroy this toad. They screamed. The toad didn't kill them. It tortured them to its heart's content. In the distance, the Ghost Emperor and Ghost Emperor's expressions changed when they heard this. The Maple Ghost Emperor, in particular, roared, "Go to hell! Kill Lin Woody first, then skin that toad." This time, he threw out a punch. Immortal chi revolved around his fist. Ghost Fist Storm. The endless black storm roared, and tens of thousands of ghost heads appeared with the power to destroy the heavens and the earth. At this moment, boundless killing intent danced in the air. Everyone in the hidden Emperor Star felt terrified. All the martial artists' souls trembled, and their scalps went numb. This terrifying attack was aimed at Lin Xian. Lin Xian's face was calm. Facing a peerless immortal technique, he didn't seem to feel wronged at all. He waited until this punch arrived before he made his move. Boom! His body shook, and the 9-yang divine body bloomed with radiance. An earth-shattering flame appeared. At this moment, Lin Xian seemed to have turned into the sun god. The flames on his body erupted, illuminating the 9 heavens. The people of the Ghost Clan were illuminated by this sun. Immediately, they screamed in pain. What a terrifying flame! Even the Wind Ghost Emperor was suppressed. His expression changed. In the next moment, he saw a golden fist rushing over. With a punch, the surrounding void shattered. The 2 fists collided and turned into countless black holes. The Wind Ghost King felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He kept retreating, and one of his arms turned into ashes. He covered his wound, and his expression became incomparably ugly. What a terrifying flame! It actually has a suppressive effect on me. The Ghost Emperor also frowned. This young man is not simple. He asked, "Are you okay? Do you want me to make a move?" "No need." The Wind Ghost Emperor shook his head and said, "I can still handle it." 10,000 ghosts descend. He formed a seal with his palms, and tens of thousands of ghosts rushed out of his body and surrounded him, forming the 10,000 ghost armor. At the same time, his broken arm regrew. This time, a black spear appeared in his hand. "Die!" With an angry roar, he attacked again. The second move, Lin Xian said indifferently. At the same time, he pointed out a finger. His finger seemed to have turned into the shadow of a dragon, and the power of an immortal erupted. He pointed to the front. This finger turned into a peerless divine sword, piercing through the clouds and destroying the earth. The Wind Ghost Emperor was originally full of confidence. He even took out his ultimate weapon. This time, he could definitely contend with the other party. However, when he saw that finger, he trembled. His face was full of horror. "No, save me." He begged the Ghost Emperor for help. The Ghost Emperor's expression also changed. "What kind of finger is this? It should be the other party's strongest technique." He roared and wanted to attack, but it was already too late. This finger passed through the universe and directly pointed at the Wind Ghost Emperor's body. The power of an immortal erupted, and the Wind Ghost Emperor's body was instantly torn into pieces. In the next moment, his heart and soul were destroyed. A crack appeared in heaven and earth, and the Wind Ghost Emperor's figure completely disappeared. The Ghost Emperor's figure stopped in midair, and his face became stiff. The people of the ghost race in the distance also turned their heads to look. They were dumbfounded. Is he dead? One of their Ghost Emperors had fallen. Suppress me in 5 moves? How ridiculous. You can't even block one of my fingers. Where did you get the courage to say such words? Lin Xian shook his head and then looked at the Ghost Emperor. After dealing with him, it's your turn. The Ghost Emperor's expression became extremely ugly. The other party killed the Wind Ghost Emperor in 2 moves. This kind of strength was beyond his expectations. You're not an ordinary emperor. What realm have you reached? The Ghost Emperor gritted his teeth and asked. He realized that he couldn't see the other party's realm at all. Moreover, that finger just now wasn't immortal chi or divine fire. What kind of power was it? You're too weak. You don't have the right to know my realm. Lin Xian said in a deep voice, "Take me to young Master Ghost. I can give you a quick death." "Humph, kid, you're too arrogant. I'm stronger than the Wind Ghost Emperor. Moreover, I'll use an ancient forbidden technique next." With that, he waved his hand, and the two black gourds in his hand were crushed by him. Tens of thousands of ghosts rushed into his body. In the next moment, his 3-meter body grew bigger again. Countless fangs grew out of his body like divine weapons. It was a ghastly sight. After reading it, the dark red dragon gasped. "Not good, boy." His aura was increasing exponentially. Chapter 6190. The Crimson Dragon said, "Stop him." Lin Xian smiled. "There's no hurry. Let him finish. I want to see what forbidden technique he has." Lin Xian smiled casually, not taking the other party seriously at all. The Ghost Emperor said, "Boy, you will regret it. You will pay the price for your arrogance. These are the souls of the powerhouses that our ghost army has collected in all the realms over the past 100 years. At this moment, they have all been swallowed by me. If I can't kill you, I won't be called the Ghost Emperor. I'll kill you and use your soul to break the 10,000-year frost sword." The Ghost Emperor's angry voice sounded. He waved his hand, and a black bell appeared in his palm. As soon as the bell appeared, a strange sound rang out. This sound could instantly destroy souls. The Crimson Dragon's face changed, and his body almost fell from the sky. "Not good." Lin Xian waved his hand, and a sword energy cut through heaven and earth. He said to the Crimson Dragon, "Step back, I'll kill him." The Divine Dragon nodded. "Then be careful. I'm also going to bully his disciples." After saying that, the Crimson Dragon also charged into the distance and slapped the Ghost King to death. The remaining 6 Ghost Kings cried, "Are you shameless? You are a great emperor, but you attacked our Ghost Kings." The Crimson Dragon sneered, "When your ghost army attacked the hidden Emperor planet, did you think that today would happen?" After saying that, he began to torture these Ghost Kings. "Go to hell, Ghost Bell." The Ghost Emperor activated the bell in his hand and charged at Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt a soul impact. However, his eyes turned, and immediately, the 6 paths of reincarnation condensed around him to block the Ghost Bell. Boom, boom. The collision of souls was extremely dangerous. Every crack caused people to tremble in fear. Lin Xian smiled. "This is your trump card. You used an ancient forbidden technique, but it's only SOSO. What other tricks do you have? Use them all. Otherwise, I'll kill you with one strike." "You're courting death." Seeing that the Ghost Bell was useless, the Ghost Emperor's face also changed. However, in the next moment, he bit his finger and drew a blood line between his eyebrows. Suddenly, his forehead split open. An eye appeared between his eyebrows. It was an incomparably pitch-black eye. The Ghost Emperor said coldly, "Boy, do you think you're the only one who has an eye technique? The eye I summoned is not something you can imagine. Ghost Eye." The black eye was Ferocious God's eye. In the next moment, a black line shot out from the black eye, piercing through the air and heading straight for Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt as if his soul had been locked in place. He was unable to dodge at all. What a strange power, but it's not as good as Rinnegan. He summoned Tsuma Reincarnation Sword. A beam of sword chi appeared in his eyes, slicing through heaven and earth. With a boom, the sword chi brought with it a destructive power that split the world in half. The black ray of light was shattered. Not only that, the eye on the Ghost Emperor's forehead was also pierced and instantly closed. The Ghost Emperor screamed and rolled in the air with his head in his hands. He was seriously injured. The Ghost Emperor was injured. He couldn't believe it. What was that sword shadow? Could it be the legendary Eye of Reincarnation? The Ghost Emperor looked at the other party's eyes, and his body trembled. "Is this your power?" "Too weak." Lin Xian shook his head, obviously not interested. The Ghost Emperor was terrified. The other party was very strong, and he was no match for him. It seemed that he could only ask young Master Gue to help. Thinking of this, he turned around and fled. His speed was extremely fast. With his strength, He could leave this world in an instant. In the next moment, he escaped from the hidden Emperor's star. He wanted to hide in the myriad worlds first. In the vast universe, the other party couldn't find him. Next time, he would come with young Master Gue and completely suppress the other party. The Ghost Emperor came to the starry sky and wanted to leave. However, in the next moment, he found that the buried Emperor's star under his feet suddenly burst out with golden light. Like a divine sun sword, it rushed into the universe. Then, the sword enveloped him. No, the Ghost Emperor went crazy. He quickly dodged and fled into the depths of the universe. However, just as he moved, the sun god's sword fell. The terrifying flames instantly split his body apart, and the divine fire of the sun on top of it extinguished his soul. In the extreme north of the hidden Emperor's star, Lin Xian withdrew the sun god's sword. With his hands behind his back, he said loudly, "The Ghost Emperor is dead." Impossible? The people of the ghost race behind him still didn't believe it. However, not long after, a rain of blood fell from the sky. This was the phenomenon of a great emperor's death. Impossible, right? The Wind Ghost Emperor was dead, and the Ghost Emperor was also dead. In the blink of an eye, two great emperors were dead. This young man was terrifying to such an extent. Spare me. In the next moment, the remaining Ghost Kings and Ghost Race experts all knelt on the ground, no longer daring to resist. What a joke. How could they be a match for the Emperor? Lin Xian didn't care about these people at all. He left them to the Crimson Dragon and Toad. The two of them naturally wouldn't be lenient. They directly attacked and turned all of these Ghost Race experts into ashes. Not only that, they also used a formation to record it and then spread it throughout the hidden Emperor star. He wanted to let the families and sects of the hidden Emperor star see that the Ghost Race was not invincible. They could easily kill them and beat them up. Sure enough, when the people on the hidden Emperor star saw this scene, they all exclaimed, "Heavens, countless Ghost Race experts were turned into ashes. Two great emperors of the Ghost Race experts had fallen? Was all of this done by Lin Gongzi? Lin Gongzi was too powerful. Lin Gongzi was the god of our hidden Emperor star." They cheered excitedly. In the extreme north, the Crimson Dragon and Toad flew back and said, "Let's go." Lin Xian shook his head no. He pointed to the front and said, "This sword is very interesting." Only then did the dark red divine dragon and the Toad look forward. In front of them, there was an ice sword. Even under the sun god fire, it didn't melt. This made them exclaim, "I didn't expect that there was such a mysterious place in the hidden Emperor's star." Their previous goal had always been the forbidden land of life and the ancient tombs of the great emperors. They didn't expect this place to be even more mysterious than the forbidden land of life. Indeed, the forbidden land of life was the place where the Supremes lived. However, with the current strength of Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon, entering the forbidden land of life was as easy as entering an uninhabited land. However, when the Crimson Dragon flew to the glacier in front of him, he was repelled by a cold force. Frost had formed on his body. The Crimson Dragon exclaimed, "It's too scary. If I don't retreat, I will be frozen into a popsicle." What kind of power was this? Even the great emperors could be frozen. It was amazing. Lin Xian was also surprised. His eyes erupted with a trace of cold light. In the next moment, he attacked. The sun god's sword appeared in his hand again, and he slashed out. The ice frost divine sword in front of him seemed to have sensed it. It immediately flew up and spun in the air, filling the sky with frost. The two sword shadows collided between heaven and earth, and a scene of destruction swept across thousands of miles. Huh! Lin Xian was surprised. What a terrifying ice frost divine sword. It was even more terrifying than the sword emperor of the Imperial Sword Villa he had met before. Thinking of this, he became interested and slashed out with his sword again, with the power to move mountains and fill seas. The ice frost divine sword in front of him seemed to be suppressed. Suddenly, a light flashed in front of him, and an incredible change occurred. Chapter 6191. In the southernmost part of the hidden Emperor's star, there was a flaming mountain. An endless sea of fire filled the air and swept through the 9 heavens. The scorching aura blocked all people. However, at this moment, there was a figure in the flaming mountain that filled the sky. It was a black-robed man. This was a handsome young man dressed in black. He was standing in the sea of fire. However, those flames couldn't hurt him at all. If the Crimson Dragon and the others were standing here, they would definitely exclaim in surprise, because the aura of this black-robed man was extremely similar to that of the Ghost Clan. This man was young Master Gue. Logically speaking, the Ghost Clan was afraid of flames. Flames were their nemesis. However, young Master Gue didn't care about these flames at all. At this moment, young Master Gue was staring ahead. There was an incomparably tall flaming mountain, condensing an extremely terrifying flaming sword. Previously, he had broken this flaming sword. However, what happened next surprised him. The flaming sword that had been broken earlier reappeared. Young Master Gue frowned. Now, he didn't act rashly. He wanted to wait for the situation in the extreme north. He hoped that the Ghost Emperor and the others could break the glacier sword there. In the extreme north, in front of Lin Xian and the others, there was a sword of ice that was blooming with light. Lin Xian's previous attack had caused the sword of ice to tremble. Following that, a shocking scene occurred with the sword of ice. A palm appeared in the sword of ice and grabbed Lin Xian's sword chi. This scene was surprising. Lin Xian was stunned. The Crimson Dragon also exclaimed, "Is there anyone else?" No, this was a demonic beast. Indeed, this palm, or to be exact, a claw, was white and fluffy. The next moment, a bear jumped out from the sword of ice, a white bear. "You have a divine body? But why did you come to the extreme north if you have a 9-yang divine body? Go to the extreme south." Hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. "May I ask who you are?" "Guardian spirit of the eternal glacier, little guy, don't attack. You can't enter. Even if you enter, the things inside are useless to you," White Bear said in a low voice. Lin Xian was stunned. The next moment, he asked, "If I can't go in, what will happen if I have the 9 divine body?" If the divine 9 body went in, would he be able to obtain any good fortune? It all depended on his luck. "All right, thanks for the information." Lin Xian smiled. "I'm going to look for the 9 divine body right now." After that, Lin Xian said to the Crimson Dragon, "Ruzalong, stay here for now. Are you going to look for Xueqi?" Lin Xian nodded. With that, he left. At this moment, Xueqi was in the high heavens. Lin Xian sent out a message. Xueqi was cultivating in the high heaven land. After receiving the news, she was stunned. Was her husband back? She was extremely excited. The people of the God Realm inside were also surprised. "Oh, that kid is back. That's great. I knew he would be fine." Black Mountain, Northern Yao, and the others cheered. The North Demon said, "It's a pity that Lord Linzhan and Lord Alcohol are not here. I have to inform them of this good news." "Let me do it." The Empress walked over and said, "I'll pass the news to them." Xueqi also walked out and said, "I have to go to the Hidden Emperor planet. My husband said he has something to do. Let's use the teleportation array. We can still hold on here." Xueqi nodded. She was in Shangqing City. On one hand, she was cultivating. On the other hand, she was defending against attacks from the outside world. At this moment, the powerhouses of the Nirvana realm were crazily attacking outside the High Heaven City. Therefore, there would be a big battle every 1 or 2 days. Xueqi was also seriously injured before. However, the High Heaven City was very mysterious, and the earth veins inside were very terrifying. Here, they could recover quickly. "I'll go back to the Hidden Emperor planet first. Then, I'll bring my husband to the High Heaven City to kill the enemies." Xueqi stepped into the ancient teleportation array and disappeared. When she reappeared, she had already arrived at the deity land and flew back to the Hidden Emperor planet. Xueqi's speed was very fast. Buzz. Finally, Xueqi arrived at the Hidden Emperor planet. Her appearance made many people on the Hidden Emperor planet look up at the sky. Another great emperor had arrived. These people's bodies trembled. Even the members of the ghost clan looked as if they were facing a great enemy. The aura of a great emperor swept out in all directions. Xueqi didn't deliberately hide her aura, so her aura was extremely terrifying. In the southernmost land, young Master Ghost narrowed his eyes. A great emperor? What a cold aura. Who is it? He circulated his soul and looked over. The void next to Xueqi cracked, and Lin Xian walked over and said, Qi, hide your aura and follow me. Xueqi nodded and restrained her aura. In the next moment, the two of them disappeared. As soon as they left, young Master Ghost's gaze fell on them. The two of them had left and disappeared. Young Master Ghost was surprised. Is it someone from the God realm? Forget it. It's just an ordinary great emperor. Even if it's someone from the God realm, so what? He couldn't change the situation. If he wanted to change the situation now, he would need an Earth Immortal to come. However, Earth Immortals wouldn't come here easily. That was a super great emperor. He didn't take a super great emperor seriously. At least 3 super great emperors had to come together. Therefore, young Master Ghost was very confident. This time, not only did he want to destroy the hidden Emperor Star, but he also wanted to open the Eternal Glacier in the land of Extreme Yang. There was something incredible in there. In the northernmost land, when Lin Xian and Xueqi arrived, the Crimson Dragon was lying on the ground and howling. Lin Xian was taken aback. What's going on? The Crimson Dragon said, This is bullying. This white bear is very powerful. After you left, I had nothing to do and wanted to fight with him, but he slapped me to the ground. Lin Xian was speechless. You're too weak. I'm weak? What a joke. I'll sweep through the 9 heavens, okay? This white bear was definitely not an ordinary great emperor. He was too strange. The white bear sat on the ground and said while eating ice cubes, Little divine dragon, I'm a guardian. How can you be my match? After that, he ignored the Crimson Dragon and looked at Xueqi. He was surprised. 9 in divine body. This is really surprising. Yes, I have the 9 in divine body. Xueqi had already heard Lin Xian's explanation. She looked at the eternal glacier in front of her and said, Senior, can I go inside? I can feel the power of a divine body inside. It's the 9 in divine body. Yes, can you feel it? It's true. Only ice elemental martial artists can enter this cave, and they must be great emperors or above. You meet the requirements. Go in. The white bear didn't stop her and opened a path for her. Xueqi said, Husband, I'll go in first. Be careful. Xueqi walked into the eternal glacier, and the white bear returned to the ice divine sword. He said, Little guy, don't wait here. You have the 9 yang divine body. Go to the southernmost land and have a look. Maybe you can find something there. Senior, what's inside? Lin Xian asked. The white bear smiled. There's something good. Seeing Lin Xian's confusion, the white bear said, It's something left behind by a god. Upon hearing this, Lin Xian was taken aback. The Crimson Dragon also sucked in a breath of cold air. This white bear is a follower of a god. No wonder I can't defeat him. Senior, thank you very much. Lin Xian bowed. Then, he took the Crimson Dragon and went to the southernmost land. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.